Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Got the Powers of All Demons and Becomes Demon Prince movie. Before we start, please go support ancalagonintheblack for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Deku is a male in this story. App 1. Since the quirks were made, people began to make a social plan where, depending on how unique the quirk became, what classified as an ordinary person could be between poverty or someone from the middle class. A quirk that was something special, he ended up being a warrior, but the special and unique ones ended up in royalty called kings or princes, the children. This takes us to a part where you can see a green-haired Izuku Midoriya, prince of one for all and eldest son of his mother Inko and his father All Might, along with his younger brothers Ryu and Izumi Midoriya, but there was only one problem: the boy did not develop a quirk, so he was rejected by his family and even mistreated by everyone who said that he is the black sheep of the family. Which brings us to the point. Nowadays Izuku was beaten by his brothers. Ryu. What's wrong with you being jealous because you won't enter UA in the future? Izumi. Well, of course he would be, after all he's not high class. After that the boy was with a sword in the forest hitting a tree. Izuku. Because of a damn quirk my parents hate me, my friends left me, I no longer belong to the family, I am nothing. In that blow he made the tree fall. Well, a dark matter came out next to a mark that the boy had, but it was gone. Izuku. What was that? Out of nowhere a voice is heard. Boy, do you want power? Izuku. Who said that? Do you want to be recognized? Be strong, follow my voice and you will be. The boy, knowing that he had nothing to lose, began to walk to where the voice could be heard, following where it came from, listening louder until he reached a cave. Izuku. Are you in there? If you come in and see me. The boy simply entered the cave, thinking that he had nothing else to do until it was illuminated by torches, so that he could see a huge being. Izuku. Who are you? I am the Demon King. Izuku. And what do you want from me? Demon King. For years I felt an energy inside you that was like that of my son Meliodas, so I began to find out for years until today you woke him up and cleared my doubts. Izuku. And what? RD. You want power, you want recognition, and I will gladly give it to you apart from a title Demon Prince, apart from being my main heir to the position of king. Izuku. I accept, but will that make me your son? RD. Something like that, but you won't have my blood out of pity, but they are minor details, although I can eliminate the blood of your previous family. Izuku. I accept then. This generates a kind of dark matter portal. RD. That is a portal that leads directly to Purgatory where we demons live, so we will live for a while, since I will train you to come back and be the strongest of all. At that point, the two of them entered the portal. App 2. After the explanation he gave them, apart from Izuku awakening a demonic power making the Demon King interested in him, so that he would call him to explain about the demons, apart from taking Izuku to Purgatory, where he would be trained to be the next Demon King among all. Izuku was currently seeing Purgatory in all its splendor, so he walked with the Demon King to a castle, where they entered to see the entire place, apart from the fact that the Demon King sat on a throne where the demons could see him. Izuku. Then I will be trained by you. RD. Apart from the fact that I got some demons to train you, about 11 in total. At that moment some demons apart from the red and grey ones entered, but 12 of them were the ones with the most specialty, since they stood in front of the king, and a black one approached him. Girl. Father, why did you call us? RD. I called them because I want them to train a boy who seems to be a demon, but not just anyone, but he has the power of your older brother Meliodas, so he will be next to the throne of Demon King and is behind him. At that, a fatty shot Izuku's enzyme. Demon. Master, I knew you would come back, you wouldn't die so easily. Master, what is your name? Izuku. Izuku me. RD. Now you are Demon no Midoriya, and the one who threw enzyme at you is Chandler, one of those who is going to train you. Chandler. Lord Izuku. RD. And they are the 10 commandments that will also train you. Hello, I'm Fraughton of disinterest. Alan of the truth. Railroad of pacifism. Velascula of faith. Monspeed of reticence. Pure derriere. Roll of patience. Gloxinia of rest. Esterasa of love. Esterasa is an IHEX name. Zaldris of piety and captain of the 10 commandments. Make the mark on your forehead. Izuku. I don't want. At that point he is hit in the belly. Zaldris. It's not a pleasure. RD. The last two were sisters of Meliodas, who was going to take my place, but after his death, Zaldris had his hopes up until you arrived. The first to train you would be Chandler. Velascula. Hey Zaldris, Izuku looks very innocent and I can keep him for a while. Izuku. Of course not. RD. Tomorrow your training starts. At that Izuku goes to rest in his room for a while, but there was a knock on his door and when he opened it, it was Esterasa. Izuku? Hello. Esterasa. I want you to understand something, I don't know why, but I feel a certain attraction toward you, so I don't care what happens, we won't end up being anything. Izuku. Okay, anything else? Esterasa. No. That's it. The next day Izuku is woken up by Chandler to begin his training with him. When he went to train he began to learn the magical full counter, the counter revenge, 1000 divine cuts apart from learning the demonic mark in its first phase. Second level. Berserker mode. Although in this mode he could barely have control, so Chandler had to calm him down more than once. Assault mode. In this mode he lost his feelings so the boy was only destruction, killing the demon without remorse, so Chandler had to intervene again. After his training he went to the Demon King. RD. Izuku, now I will give you something called commandments, they are an exact replica of the originals, I made them so that the group of the 10 commandments can follow, and they do not have to give their commandments to others, but the only difference is that if someone has the other commandments, I will be able to take control of his body unlike these. Izuku. Okay Demon King. RD. Now the commandments will teach you how to use them and in the process learn some new technique. And that the first one he went to train with was with Monspeed, learning to use the one of reluctance, apart from learning about the flames of Purgatory, getting to know as much as Monspeed about his fire attacks, apart from the star combo, that this allows him to change anything, while have the same or similar size. Later it was with Derriere learning from Purity that he taught him to do the combo that consisted of hitting, but as time went by the blows would be stronger, reaching up to 64 blows. The third was Grerode learning to transform things into demons aside from pacifism, not to mention his magical abilities with like chains of Rinker. The fourth commandment was Frauden, with which he learned the selflessness of his commandment, apart from knowing how to increase his size by being a giant, and the ability he took from a human who made a light attack with which he could pass through many things. The next among all was Gloxinia, who apart from showing him how to use the commandment of rest, learned how to use a spear similar to Basquia's, with the difference that being a creation, it does not throw through the tree of the Fairy King, this could add to its things to make it stronger. After Gloxinia, Droll followed, teaching him how to use patience, although another thing he learned was how to be connected to the earth, arriving through dance and music to carry out attacks. The next was Galland, who taught him about the commandment of truth, although the most difficult thing he needed the help of the previous ones who taught him was to learn about his critical power, since Galland was not good at explaining that since he almost mentioned fights all the time. The next was Melascula, although they were watching her since the first day of training, and she almost raped Izuku, so it was somewhat difficult to know about her commandment of faith, apart from having to learn how to extract souls perfectly and about the dark matter. The almost last one was Esterasa, which taught him about the commandment of love, along with some dark matter skills, so he could learn how to make attacks and defenses with it. Finally, Zaldris had to teach him the commandment of mercy, in addition to training him in demon realms. Throughout the training he was also trained in his physique by the Demon King, eventually having one that would make even the most muscular man jealous. At that time Izuku changed too much to the point of no longer being green-haired but blonde. That day he was sleeping, but something was happening inside his head. Izuku. Where am I? In your mental space, but before you ask anything, I'm Meliodas. Izuku. Meliodas. Meliodas. Yes, now what I will do is give you my power so that you will be strong, although you will change even more. Just then he woke up only to see the female members of the commandments in his bed sleeping, although Esterasa and Zaldris hated to admit it. They were attracted to Izuku. Izuku's appearance. Cap 3. After Izuku's arrival in Purgatory to be trained by the commandments and Meliodas' former teacher, apart from receiving his power, although he will have to wait a long time to be able to use all that power, Izuku was currently preparing to go. He returned to the human world to start his life to be a good demon king in the future. So he was saying goodbye to his teachers, although now they were more of his friends. Izuku. Chandler, don't cry, it will only be a few years, Monspeed, when we see each other I will play that card game again. Gallant, stop playing that game of who dies first. Droll, when he comes back we will do the dance you wanted to practice. Gloxinia, I will use Bulkser well, the spear that Gloxinia gave to Izuku. Frauden, I hope you are well, and Grero does not experiment on Frauden. That's when he sees the girls and hugs them. Melascula. When you come back we will have fun. Derriere. And there will be no one to stop it. That's where he goes with Esterasa. Esterasa. I said I didn't want to feel anything for you, but it ended the other way around, and I don't regret anything. He goes to Zaldris to hug her. Izuku. You want to be the demon queen and I'll get that for you. At that Zaldris blushes because he knew what Izuku was referring to. RD. I won't be as bad as before, so if you have more fiancés in the future, I won't care what clan she is from, even if she is from a goddess. At that Izuku crosses the portal to return to the world before, seeing that he was in a training camp class, apart from the fact that it was night, but a light shines on his face. I am Nezu, the director of the UA. A place where princes can enter to be heroes for the villains outside. Nezu. Who are you? Izuku. I'm Izuku Demon Prince just crossed the portal of Purgatory and end up here unknowingly. Izuku's clothes, same appearance and everything because he ended up being blonde during the time of Purgatory, apart from when Meliodas gave him his powers, he ended up being like Meliodas. Nezu. And what are your intentions? Izuku. I just want to enter the UA, but I still have some time to enter, I'm not old enough. Nezu. Do you have a place to live? Izuku. No. Nezu. Then I will give you a place to live here at the UA, if you want to enter in the future, I don't see a problem with you entering. At that Nezu takes him to a room where he only had a bed and some furniture for clothes. Izuku. Thank you very much Nezu. Nezu. It's okay, but could you tell me about that demon prince thing? And that Izuku would tell him about how his family mistreated him, about how he activated his demonic power, apart from meeting the demon king who took him to Purgatory, about how he was trained by the commandments and the peacekeeping demon Chandler, apart from the ones he gave him. The Demon King and how he will come to be a hero, although in a few years he will have to take the throne of the Demon King, so Nezu believed him to let him live in UA. Izuku. Do you really believe me? Nezu. I'm practically the smartest hero to see a person's facial expressions when they lie yes or no, apart from their body movements and behavior, I don't need machines to know if you're lying. At that Nezu leaves the room so Izuku just puts on a smile to fall asleep, the next Izuku got up and proceeded to do his training routine until Nezu called him, so he entered a room where the teachers were. Nezu. Hello everyone, I want to introduce Izuku Demon Prince. At that moment Nezu began to tell everything that Izuku told him last night, so all the teachers understood Nezu and accepted Izuku at UA. It was a time in which Izuku and the teachers knew each other well, although Professor Midnight she almost raped him a couple of times, so he was careful with her. Currently Izuku was with the teachers in a room watching the tests that were taken to enter the UA. Nezu. Izuku, what do you think of your next classmates? Izuku. I can now start studying at UA, but I will have to put up with Izumi and Ryu with their damn quirk of the miserable All Might, and to make matters worse, this will be a teacher for his children, and those two will live for a while at UA, until the years are over. Nezu. You will only have to endure a separate time that we already released at 0 points. Izuku. Nezu, that girl is trapped in the rubble. They notice how there was a girl who was not helped, but before they do anything Izuku came out of a window using his wings of darkness, at that moment All Might enters. All Might. Hello, did I miss something? Nezu. No. Before the girl is crushed by the robot, she is taken out by Izuku who has her in his arms, leaving her on the side of the street. Izuku. Stay here. And that Izuku flies to the head of the 0 points to make his hand have dark matter, so that a giant hand with claws is formed, so that a blow to the head of the 0 points ends up being destroyed. Tab 4. After Izuku has returned to his world apart from telling everything to Nezu who let him live in the UA being calm, although in those years he did not have all the power of Meliodas inside him, since he had to continue waiting, but that was not what bad, but he had to put up with All Might and his children at UA, although it was not so bad, since he saved a girl to destroy the robot and leave the place. Currently you can see all the UA students even the new ones entering this. Izumi. Uraraka-chan, how do you think all this will be? Uraraka. I don't know but I do know it will be exciting. Toru. I can't wait to see who our teacher will be. Hiroshima. Hey Bakugo bro, how will classes be? Bakugo. I don't care since I'm the strongest. They were talking while walking at a very slow pace to their living room as they wanted to meet each other, but out of nowhere they were all pushed. Momo. What's wrong with him? Second grade girl. He's just passing by. Jiru. Who? Girl. They are certainly new, all of you don't know him. That's when they see how a blonde-haired man was walking through the hallways while they made way for him, although he was surrounded by the girls, although he didn't pay any attention to them because he was thoughtful. Boy. He's probably thinking about something very important. Tomi Fem Todoroki, who is this? Girl. It's Izuku who has been living at UA for a while because the director left him. Boy. Only this year will they let him study in first day. Boy. I couldn't before because I was younger. Girl. But now you can. Tamanari. And that's the only thing that's special. Girl. No, he is the most popular at UA, apart from the fact that when he arrived a few days passed and he managed to beat some students, even fighting against the third years. Boy. And what's more, he is Izuku Demon Prince. That caught the attention of the group. Girl. He is the prince of all demons. At that point Izuku had already left so they could resume their walk, and by the time they reached their living room, they saw Izuku sitting in the back reading a book. Everyone sat in their places, but Mineta would try to do something. Mineta. So Izuku, tell me how many breasts did you see in this place? Izuku. I don't care about that kind of thing, please go. Mineta. Piro. At that Izuku grabs his face. Izuku. Look, I hate some pervert so you better leave me alone. After that he launches Mineta. Uraraka. Hello Izuku, I'm Uraraka, Princess of Zero Gravity, thank you for saving me in the exam. Izuku. You're welcome, but not to offend, but the teacher is going to come in. Izawa. Hey everyone, put this on and go out. At that point, everyone goes out to the training field to see the whole place. As in the original story, Bakugo would be the one who would pass first. As always happens, Izuku would stand out in the other tests, finishing first until the one with the ball, in which a white-haired girl would pass who he would throw the ball, surpassing Bakugo's score. Izawa. Very good Elizabeth, now you're Tarmiel. Just then an orange-haired man passes by and throws the ball, but with a stream of water. Izawa. Now you're Cereal. When the boy almost as small as Mineta threw the ball with a gust of air. Izawa. Now Ludociel. The aforementioned step was used to launch the ball at great speed, which no one saw, but it would not reach infinity. Izawa. Mael voice continue. At that point it started to get hot for the girl to throw it. The next Merlin who teleported the ball, Diane who with enormous force threw the ball using some rocks, Bainey a girl who stole the energy from almost everyone by throwing the ball. Gother who when he threw the ball used a kind of bow to increase the distance, Kingo little girl who with a spear increased the distance, but it was Izuku's turn who remembered something. Flashback. Izuku was with Esterasa. Esterasa. Izuku, when you leave, you may meet my twin sister, although she is a goddess, Mael, be careful with her. Izuku. Like a goddess. Esterasa. The Demon King created me from the power of darkness, while the Supreme Deity created one equal to me but from light. Izuku. I'll be careful with her. Then flashback. Izuku went to the circle to grab the ball and activate his demonic mark in the first phase, to throw it which reached infinity, impressing everyone until the previous ones. After that classes ended and everyone was in their room, but Izuku walked to his. Izuku. Too bad I'm still the only demon in the UA. And that 6 people stand in front of him. Izuku. What do you want? Tarmiel. I am Tarmiel, this is Ludociel, Cereal, Narabasta and Mael, we are Princess Elizabeth's guards, we only ask that you stay away from her. And that it passes by. Izuku. I won't promise anything if she calls me. By the way, Mael, Esterasa would like to meet you. Mael. You know her? Izuku. You are. Just then he enters his room. Tab 5. After Izuku met all his classmates, apart from demonstrating his potential and receiving a threat from the goddess clan, they were studying until the bell rang to go to eat. Going to the dining room, Izuku was looking at where to sit until he found Mirio, Tamaki and Najire sitting with them. Mirio. And your first day? Izuku. What I tell you is good with many weak ones. Tamaki. For you, almost everyone in the UA is weak before your enormous power, although you have not discovered your full potential. Izuku. You're right, but what's going to happen? After all, I'll be the future Demon King. At that Sai was walking calmly with her tray of food to where her friends were, but a foot made her trip, ending up on the floor. Girl. Look, the frog princess fell down. At that, some begin to laugh at that. Izumi tried to get in but was grabbed by Uraraka. Izumi. Uraraka, what are you doing? Uraraka. They are second years, we can't do anything. Girl. What's wrong, little frog, do you want more food? At that point she grabs a tray to throw the enzyme food out of it. Sayu just closed her eyes, but she didn't feel anything, but she noticed that someone was covering her, so she opened her eyes to see a body that looked well formed, but she would notice that it was Izuku, but otherwise he wouldn't notice it because of the food that covered his hair and his back. Girl. How about the little frog, she has a boyfriend who protects her and is as pathetic as she is. At that Izuku stood up while everyone and the girl was filled with fear to see that it was Izuku with his demonic mark. Izuku. I'm not their boyfriend, but I don't like them mistreating others either. At that the girl pulls back. Izuku. Don't do that again. At that, with his dark matter, he took out the food while turning around to kneel, while he had a hand extended to Tsayu, who blushingly accepted the help. Tsayu. Thank you. Izuku. No. He gives her a smile that makes the girl blush more so that he is with a big 3, a while passes and All Might enters, passing the story to the costumes that each one had, your hero costume until they saw Naruto with yours. The teams would be like the original story, but one caught the attention, Izuku and Elizabeth as heroes against the villains Mael and Ludociel. When it was their turn they were waiting outside the buildings. Elizabeth. It will be a pleasure to fight with you. Izuku. Thank you. Elizabeth. Being the demon prince you helped a girl. Izuku. They're just details. At that point, when they were given permission to enter, they entered seeing the entire place. Izuku. Who's going to come first? Elizabeth. I can't tell you that. Out of nowhere Izuku is sent flying by a blow from Ludociel while Mael was coming. Ludociel. I'm sorry princess, but we won't be able to let you pass. At that, the two are sent to crash against a wall by a blow from Izuku. Izuku. Go get the bomb, I'll take care of them. At that Elizabeth runs to the bomb. Ludociel. You messed with the wrong archangels, the two strongest, the Flash and the Sun. Mael. And a single archangel can fight against two commandments at the same time. Izuku. Then get ready because this is going to burn. At that Izuku throws fire at the two who dodged so that Ludociel appeared from behind to begin with a flurry of blows to Izuku that sent him against Mael, who received him with a cruel sun, directly causing Izuku to fall to the floor, so he entered. The two of them went against Izuku, giving him several blows, making him feel bad until he collided with a wall. Ludociel. Sister, go get Elizabeth, I'll take care of him. At that Ludociel tries to hit him, but Izuku takes it and kneed him followed by a fist to his face, sending him flying to the side of Mael who looked at him. Ludociel. This doesn't change anything. Then that he went against Izuku, but he blocked all of his blows, as if it were nothing to hit him in the face, followed by another in the knee, making him bow down to him, followed by receiving a blow that buried him in the floor, so he got up with a great difficulty. Ludociel. How is it possible if I'm faster? Izuku. Yes, but I already learned your attack pattern, and I tell you that it is very basic. At that he puts his hand on his chest, so that a fire attack will send him up to Elizabeth's apartment, which she looks impressed at how Ludociel, the second strongest in her group, fell. Mael, before this, went against Izuku with whom she began a fight which raised the temperature, but he noticed that they were about to touch the bomb, so he sent a cruel sun although it was too strong. Mael. Damn. Before Elizabeth's attack, Izuku appeared in front of the attack and hit him squarely in the back. Izuku. Elizabeth finished this. At that Elizabeth touched the bomb, declaring the heroes the winner. After that Izuku healed himself with his dark matter to lower Ludociel, in which Elizabeth began to heal him. Izuku. I'm sorry for the hurt I did to your friend, but it was a good fight. At that he extends his hand which Mael shakes. Mael. Yes, it was a good fight, as long as you don't worry about him, he will be fine, son of the Demon King. Izuku. I'm not his son at all. That left the two of them impressed, but Izuku left the place. MHA 6. After Izuku defeated the villains in All Might's test, he was nervous since his eldest son Izuku had left home so they were looking for him, and according to the documents he got from the names of his sons, Izuku was the only one who had that name throughout Japan, completely lucky for him and bad for Izuku. At this moment the president and vice president of the class were being elected in which everything will be chaos, since everyone wanted to be president, but they are silent about that because Izuku. A president is not elected that way, he has to be voted for by the trust of others, otherwise everything will be chaos, and it will end in this without a president. At that point the votes would be made ending with Izuku as the president and Momo as the vice president. After that in the dining room Izuku noticed that Mirio, Tamaki and Najire were missing, so he became a little down because he was going to eat alone again, but that's what they call it. Elizabeth. Izuku, come sit with us. At that Izuku sits with them, although somewhat distrustful. Elizabeth. You don't need to act like this, they won't do anything to you. The archangels were talking to each other until a question happened. Elizabeth. And how does your father treat you? I say for being the Demon King. Izuku. In fact he would be almost my father and he treats me well. Tarmiel. Like almost your father. Izuku. You see, from the beginning I was human but without a quirk, so my parents and younger brothers mistreated me with blows and even those who were my friends. One day in the forest, out of simple anger towards them, I activated a demonic power that would be the same as Meliodas, so the Demon King found me, he trained me, and now I am the next to his throne. Serial. So you're not like other demons. Izuku. In fact, believe it or not, even the demons seem very human. That left them thinking about Izuku since their thoughts about him were not correct, but then an alarm sounded so everyone wanted to leave because they thought it was a villain attack, but Izuku would go ahead of the exit to stop everyone. Izuku. Everyone stop for a moment and look out the windows, you're reporters, that's all. At that everyone calmed down to return to their classes, but Izuku noticed Lita. Izuku. And what are you doing there? Lita. I was about to stop them. Izuku. Well. But that he leaves the place, already in the room the names of heroes were being chosen until Izuku's turn. Izuku. I'll be Izuku the Dragon of Wrath. That's why he's going to sit down. Momo. Because Dragon of Wrath. Izuku. Those are things I shouldn't tell for the moment. After that everyone went to their room. Tarmiel. So we had the wrong idea about the boy. Narabasta. But that doesn't mean that he will be the next demon king. Serial. Still he was human before that. Ludociel. Having said this, we do it by vote without involving Elizabeth, so I say that we will have to kill him, and the last vote falls on you Mael. Mael. I say we leave it alone. At that everyone understood, for another quarter. Diane. Then the captain would be him. Merlin. Yes, and we have to accompany him at all times. Bania. Well, that old man was right that we would find him in this place. Hinga. Bania, you don't even have respect for Escanor after he's dead. Author. We'll still have to see how we get Izuku's attention. In the living room. Mina. Izuku, what is the demon world like? Jiru. Elizabeth the sky. Elizabeth. Well, it is a beautiful place as it is reported in these places that it is due to the clouds. Izuku. To begin with, it's called Purgatory, that place is pure destruction, some demons kill others, fire everywhere, but some nice things out there that you can get used to. Hiroshima. And can we go to Purgatory? Izuku. I take them, but if they spend 1 minute in that place they will only age quickly by the time they return, because in that place the time is longer, but there is a way to enter, and they won't mind that. Haminari. What? Izuku. I have to put a royal demonic seal on them, so that not only will they be able to endure the time in that place, but also that almost no demons will touch them. Mineta. Like almost. Izuku. Well, there are demons called Endura, those demons live in the depths of Purgatory and have no self-consciousness, they behave like animals which do not obey anyone. Toru. And how does that happen? Izuku. A high-class demon that has 7 hearts and a power that exceeds 50,000 can transform into an Endura. They have to make a pact with darkness by sacrificing 6 of their hearts, so they will achieve the transformation. Even if this leads to the consequence that I mentioned to you, you will not be able to return to normal, and you will lose your reasoning. Uraraka. And you can do that. Izuku. Yes, I just get 6 hearts and that's it. Momo. Are you 7? Izuku. Yes, if you want, see for yourself. At that point he hikes up his shirt causing the girls to get blood from their noses, so that Momo puts her ear in 7 different places, checking what is true. Hiroshima. Hey Izu bro, how do you put the seals? Izuku. It's easy, I can put my hand on a part of their body, and they will have the seal, although when they meet a demon, they will have to show them the seal are the most effective. If I give them a kiss, they will have part of my essence that the demons will recognize, and that they will leave in peace. That's how the day passes. Pap 7. After the day they had in which Izuku put some order in the place when it was chaos apart from being elected as president of the class, so it was calm until they announced that they would have some rescue practices, so they put on their suits of heroes, and they went on the bus. Mina. Hey Izuku, Elizabeth, how are you assuming the throne? Elizabeth. When my mother says I'm ready to take the throne, I'll have to take it even if she passes her powers on to me. Izuku. Mine is a little harder, when I have to assume the throne of Demon King I will have to kill the king to assume the Lade, there is no other way. That left them impressed. Jiru. Now that we have homework from your kingdoms we can explain about the graces and commandments. Elizabeth. The graces are 4 powers that the deity gives to the strongest archangels, Ocean, Storm, Flash and the strongest Sun. Izuku. The commandments are curses, whoever breaks them will receive a curse. The Demon King created the 10 commandments, which if one has all 10 the Demon King will be able to take his body, but luckily for me, he created about 10 more equal to the originals, and he gave them to me. He delivered. Mina. So that means he can take your body? Izuku. That's the best part, these commandments won't let him take my body. That's when they arrived at the place, so they started to look at it until the lights began to fail, and a portal was made in the middle through which villains came out, so Izawa told 13 to take the students out while he took care of them. The villains, when they tried to leave the portal the villains stood in their way. Villain. Hello, I'm Kurogiri and we are the League of Villains who came to kill All Might. At that he tried to use his power on them, but he couldn't since Ariel protected them with his storm, so they ran to the exit, but saw that Izuku was still. Elizabeth. Izuku, let's go. Izuku at one point went against a giant chicken on steroids by kicking him to take a badly injured Izawa and leave him with the others. Izuku. You guys go out, I'll keep the villains here. In that, Izuku with wings of darkness goes against the villains, leaving some unconscious, but he received a blow from that thing. Tamura. Nomu Madalo. The Nomu would go against Naruto, who gave him a blow that took him away to give him another that sent him flying. The Nomu went again against Izuku, with which they began a fist clash in which they were even, but Izuku noticed that the Nomu was maybe he got more used to his blows, hitting him in the face and taking him by the leg and starting to smash him against the floor. But from one moment to the next, Nomu's hand was broken, while Izuku was seen with the cursed mark in the first place. Phased to give him a headbutt followed by a kick. Izuku. It was good to play, but now let's get serious. Izuku takes out his sword to go against the Nomu, making some cuts which make him roar in pain that everyone hears. Tamura. How is this possible? We made thousands of cuts on my Nomu, so many that he is already used to it, so this would be nothing. Izuku. It is my sacred treasure hellish sword, a sword made in the same purgatory that just one of its cuts will make you feel the biggest burn of your life. Izuku goes again against the Nomu, who was waiting for him to start doing the same only for Izuku to knee him followed by a blow, and then jump to give him a cut that made him scream in pain, but he grabbed Izuku's face to stop him. Crash it on the floor and start running while dragging his face, so that he puts one of his hands on the Nomu's arms to stab his sword, followed by cutting his arm, so that he lets go, followed by him regenerating. The villains seeing this they tried to run, but some black rays passed through their sides, so that they stayed still. Izuku. Now go defeat the other villains out there. Those who were still went to fight against those who were in the other areas. Izuku received a blow causing him to be pinned to the floor, but the Nomu received a cut on the chest, followed by the cut having dark flames. Izuku deactivated for a moment his demonic mark as a result of receiving a blow from the Nomu, so that he began to massacre Izuku, so that he was sent to fly in the air, but before he did anything he received a blow from a mallet that had all the strength of the Nomu, making Izuku sent into the water. Before the Nomu could do anything he received a cruel son from Mael. Mael. Apparently he is strong but not strong enough. The Nomu was about to go against Mael, but something came out of the water that hit the Nomu, being an Izuku with the second phase of the demonic mark. Izuku. Your fight is with me. At that moment, villains fell from the sky, noting that they were in the water. Izuku went against the Nomu, starting a fist bump again but on a larger scale, making the whole place shake. Izuku. You get stronger with every hit, but that has a limit. Once, black and purple flames appeared on one of his fists to hit him in the stomach, causing him to fly away, leaving the place. Izuku, in response to this, prepared to continue fighting because some villains were about to attack him, but the current of water took almost all of them away. Seeing that it was Tarmiel while Elizabeth began to heal him so that at that moment the heroes would arrive. Hap 8. After the attack of the League of Villains in which Izuku emerged as the winner in one way or another, the entire school found out about this because they looked at Izuku as someone strong apart with respect, as if he were a pride for men, when they were in class. Aizawa entered the classroom all bandaged. Aizawa. You guys will have a month off since the sports festival is coming, so I hope you train your powers well. Everyone began to celebrate at this. In the dining room Izuku approached the archangels who looked at him. Udosiel. What do you want? Izuku. Thank you. The 6. Izuku. If they had not covered me from the villains who were against me, I would have practically used more power apart from going into a state where I do not have much control. For that I thank you. Elizabeth. It's nothing to always help a partner. After that everyone was talking in a room. Hiroshima. Hey Izu bro, we can go to your world. Izuku. Okay, tomorrow we will all go, so get ready. The next day everyone got ready since they were going to spend that month in Purgatory, notifying the UA, although Izuku was in the kitchen right now until he saw Narabasta enter. Narabasta. You better be careful with what you do. Izuku. Don't worry, the Demon King spoke with the Supreme Deity and he allowed it, but he wanted to talk to you about something. She takes charge of Narabasta, making her nervous. Izuku. When I fought the villains I noticed a look of concern you had. Narabasta. It was for Elizabeth Sama. She said it while she was at the table wanting to prepare something for breakfast, but Izuku started caressing her tits, making her blush apart from starting to feel some of Izuku's pants on her butt. Izuku. Apart from that, I noticed that you were also very worried about me when that Nomu threw me into the water. The day flies to give a kiss to Narabasta, who blushes apart from surprising him to lift her up, while he squeezed her buttocks to put her lying down on the table to continue kissing her, but she heard them approaching. Izuku. Whenever you want, we continue. At that Narabasta got ready although she was red, so she went to the living room. Izuku. Well, I'll have to put the seals on it. He begins to put the stamps on the boys to continue with the girls starting with Momo, but she gave him a kiss. Momo. Better be warned. Before Izuku moved, each girl kissed him until the goddesses were gone. Izuku. Do you want a kiss too? Narabasta. No thanks, we prefer the seal. Izuku. Whatever you want. Izuku put the seals on them to make the portal, so everyone entered seeing Purgatory in its splendor, although some were already scared by the place. Izuku. Come on, don't stay here. They all followed him down a path until at one point Izuku told them to wait, so they waited, but a being in red armor appeared behind them. Aland. Some humans and some cursed ones from the goddess's clan. Kirishima showing the seal. You can't do anything to us. Alan. Since they bear the mark of royalty, it's too bad that a commandment doesn't care about that. Before attacking he saw the girls who had an energy similar to someone who looked like family, but he was going to attack anyway, but when he threw his weapon back for some reason he couldn't move forward so he looked behind him. Izuku. Hey Galland, we haven't seen each other in a long time, but I would like to know why you attack my guests. Galland. Izuku, you're back, I didn't know they were your guests, although some of those girls had a similar energy to yours, but I understand now. That's when they entered while the two demons were talking, they all saw the place that was very elegant even for a demon, until they were in front of a banquet and they saw several chairs, although 11 were already occupied, but they were enough for everyone so they sat down. Kirishima. Do you celebrate something? Izuku. No, it's just breakfast. Everyone was surprised at that, but they began to eat although they couldn't stop looking at the demons who were sitting. Izuku. I present to you the commandments although I suppose you know Galland, Droll, Gloxinia, Monspeed, Grerode, Frodon, Esterasa, Melascula, Derriere and their captain Zaldris, the others at their side, Archandler the peacemaker demon and Cusack, and obviously there he is the demon king. They were surprised because they were sitting next to the high command of Purgatory. Elizabeth, nice to meet you, demon king I'm Elizabeth, RD. You don't need to tell me who they are, I know them all. After eating, everyone prepared their room where they were going to sleep and then went to the living room. Izumi. It's exciting to see the commandments. Zaldris. Yeah whatever. Mael. Hello Esterasa. Esterasa. Hello Mael. The two stared at each other, almost sparks coming out of their eyes. Diane. It's amazing to see Droll who was crowned the king of the giants. Hinga. And Gloxinia. Gloxinia. These are the best of fairies and giants. Droll. They are very weak. Everyone watched as Mineta and Kaminari fell to the floor unconscious. Mina. What happened to them? Derriere. Anyone who thinks impure things in my presence will fall to the floor unconscious, but I already deactivated. Toru. And what do you have with Izuku? Zaldris. We are his future wives. That left everyone in shock. Derriere. Although the Demon King allows him to have as wives not only demons, but also anything up to goddesses in total so there is no problem. Izuku. Although Melascula is someone who wants to grape me, Derriere is someone who beat me to death and came to feel something for me, Esterasa said that we would have nothing, but it ended up being the opposite, and Zaldris at the beginning wanted to kill me, but now he can't live without me. Melascula. And I still want to grape you. That's when they see a drunk Galland. Kirishima. What should you do when it's like this? Izuku. Take him to bed to rest. He opened a window to throw Galland out, making almost everyone sweat. When it became night and everyone was sleeping, Izuku heard a knock on the door, so he opened it seeing that it was the girls. Izuku. What's wrong? Momo. We can't sleep around the place, can we sleep with you? Izuku. Okay. At that moment they all entered his bed without paying attention to the other demons, so he just went to sleep. Cap 9. After they arrived at the Purgatory where they met the high-ranking demons, apart from Nerabasta being practically humiliated by Izuku, staying in the place, right now they were all in the room with the commandments, who were only watching television getting a drop everyone got sweaty, but they didn't pay attention to it since they only went out to train. Izuku. Well, so that some of you understand more specifically, the archangels do not go so far while training. Everyone began to train although Kinga and Diane asked Droll and Gloxinia to train them until at one point, Maela caught her attention in a place so without Izuku seeing her or anyone, she went to train in a place that was a forest. Maela. This will be a good place to train. He said them while he began to make small suns in the place, but nothing happened, but the girl had to run from the place because a demon that was larger than normal almost ate her. Maela. What is this? It's not a plane, but it's almost as big as one. Start dodging its bites. Maela. Die. She said it while creating a cruel sun and throwing it at his face, but it did nothing to her surprise. Before she could eat it, she disappeared from the place to reappear in Izuku's arms, who left her in one place. Izuku. Stay here. He said it while creating some dark flames with which he began to make some flashes, which showed that the demon did not like it because he retreated until he entered a kind of hole in the floor which began to be sealed. Maela. Why didn't my power affect him? Izuku. In Purgatory the power of the goddesses can decrease, especially when it is a place where there is no sun. Nerabasta. Maela-sama is okay. Kirishima. Oya Izu bro what was that? Izuku makes them approach where the hole was closed to make a small Oya where they all looked at the same demon, but this one was accompanied by other demons which were almost like that one. Izuku. That's Indura, the form of a demon, that's why I told them not to go away, because in this forest it can be normal for an Indura to appear, let's all go back to the castle. They all returned to the castle where they spent some time until they all went to sleep. When they woke up they saw that they were back in the UA. Kirishima. What time is it? Mina. Was that purgatory thing a dream? Mineta. If it was a dream it felt very real. Izuku. It wasn't a dream, I just returned them to the UA. Jiru. Why? Izuku. Easy, the month is over. Elizabeth. But we were only there one day. Izuku. Purgatory time is faster than you think. Bakugo, I want you to make an explosion. Bakugo extended a hand out his window to make an explosion which was much larger than normal. Izuku. You see, their powers increased in the short time they were there. Tarmiel. And now what? Izuku. Just prepare for the festival. Everyone prepared for the sports festival, although some of them could not shake the images they had of Purgatory, and even less of the Endura. In a part where Izuku was training, Narabasta appeared. Izuku. What do you want? Narabasta. I just came to tell you that sooner or later I will have my revenge for the humiliation you gave me in the kitchen. She said it to turn around, but started to be touched by Izuku. Izuku. Seriously, because I saw that you enjoyed it instead of disliking it. Narabasta. Wait, I'll have my revenge. At that moment Izuku left the place, the days passed, and the long-awaited sports festival arrived. Tap 10. After they spent time in Purgatory, apart from Narabasta telling Izuku that he wanted revenge on him, until the sports festival arrived, which had everyone very excited, already leaving the locker room, seeing all the people there. On the spot, Bakugo would say the same thing about the original story. Izuku. The first thing is a race, I will have to be very fast, although if I take into account that Ludociel will be protecting Elizabeth at all times it will be difficult. When the start signal gave them, Todoroki froze the entrance to start running, but he didn't count on Mael and Izuku, destroying it to be at Todoroki's level, until they saw robots with 0 points which were trying to take them, but in a move by Mael destroying the two fell on Izuku, the others continued running without caring about anything. Ludociel. Izuku is trapped between those robots while we are in the minefield. Serial. Even though with great effort I didn't reach the goal in time. Before they took another step, everyone heard a huge explosion, and everyone looked back seeing that it was from the robots, seeing from a distance an Izuku going at full speed, being faster than all of them, passing by the Archangel's arming. A cloud of dust and make one more than another boy fly away due to Izuku's speed until he finished in first place. Midnight. Something unexpected, young Izuku, finishing last, finished the obstacle course first. Everyone just screamed with joy because the boy finished the race so easily until everyone passed. Midnight. Now the cavalry follows, they will have to form groups which protect the person who has the points. Time began and Izuku was looking for someone to join him as a team. Anya. Hey, there's no problem if we form a team. Naruto. No problem. Anya. I brought a friend so they can be there too. Letting Diane, Mei and Tarmiel see. Izuku. Tarmiel. Tarmiel. I wondered what it would be like if one from the Goddess clan and one from the Demon clan joined forces for a few moments apart from the others, it would be too much. When they formed the team with Bania being the one on top and it started, they all went for Izuku's team, but they, using Mei's inventions, managed to leave the place to get away from all of them. Izuku. Apparently it won't be easy. Tarmiel. I say the same. Ludociel. Tarmiel, among everyone you could see, you chose that team. Tarmiel. What can I tell you last minute? Izuku's team used Mei's invention again to leave the place, but Serial sent a blast of air that damaged Mei's invention. Izuku. Apparently this won't be easy at all, Bania, your turn. He said it while everyone was going against them, so Bania activated the zero signal, so everyone passed to the side of each team until he stopped the technique. Tarmiel. Interesting trick. They were avoiding all the teams until it was finally over to show who went to the next round and how they would fight. Izuku against Ludociel, Bania against Diane, Tarmiel against Serial, Gother against Elizabeth, Merlin against Kinga, Mael against Todoroki and Narabasta against Mei, leaving the others in the stands. Tap 11. After the fights that would take place were announced, everyone went to the stands, so that Izuku was left with only Ludociel in front of him, who looked at him with an arrogant face when they gave him the opportunity to start the fight. Ludociel. It will be so easy to beat you. Izuku. Like All Might's test where he beat you. Ludociel. Shut up. Ludociel went against Izuku in order to hit the boy, which he dodged without much problem, so that Ludociel began to increase the speed of his blows, but Izuku only blocked or dodged them to once and for all hit Ludociel, which he grabbed his stomach, followed by another blow to his face that pushed him away. Ludociel, seeing this, chose to launch a kind of compressed explosion at him, but Izuku used the full counter, returning it, hitting him squarely. Izuku. I don't think you expected that. He said it while Ludociel fell to the floor unconscious, giving Izuku the winner. The next fight Bania against Diane. Diane. Bania, I hope you forgive me later. Bania. We'll see about that. Diane immediately tried to hit him with a stone column, but he dodged it to go against it to hit him in the face, which he couldn't since Diane kicked him, so that Bania tried to hit him, but everyone was stopped by Diane, who seemed to have her eyes closed. Bania. That doesn't look like fighting moves, more like a dance. In the stands. Momo. What's wrong? Izuku. One ability that giants have is being able to dance, which allows them to have a better hand-to-hand fight. In the fight, Bania chose to use her zero signal to hit her, which caused Diane to begin using her magic against Bania, throwing stones at stakes, which Bania dodged until one pierced her stomach, making her think. Everyone said they would have to go to a doctor, but they saw how Bania ran to where Diane was giving her a blow, so that everyone could notice how her wound was healed. Bania. The good begins. He said it, taking her leg to spin around several times and throw Diane off the platform. For the next fight, everyone was excited because two members of the goddess clan were going to face each other. Serial. It's Alice Tarmiel. Tarmiel. Don't think I'll be kind. When they were allowed to fight, Serial went against Tarmiel, who took on water so that he would not be able to do any damage, so that Tarmiel would appear behind him, taking him by the head and throwing him to the ground, causing him to crash so that he would get up. Tarmiel. Great ocean. A large amount of water came out to go against Serial, who used his seeing to protect himself, so that he came out of the attack to go against Tarmiel, who was already waiting for it, so he took on water, but he did not expect to appear in the middle of a big tornado, so he tried to get out, but he couldn't, so Serial forced him to leave the place, although some wounds could be seen on Tarmiel's body as he tried to get out. Next fight, Gother against Elizabeth. Elizabeth. I hope it's a good fight. Gother. I don't, because I already know how to win without hurting you, princess. Everyone saw how he launched a lightning bolt which hit her in the head, so that Gother, moving his hands as if he had a puppet, would make Elizabeth leave the combat platform, impressing everyone with the easy way he won. Next fight, Merlin against Kinga. Kinga. It will be good to fight against the Hechicera princess. Merlin. The fairy princess looks very excited. Kinga tried to throw her spear at Merlin, who already saw this coming, so she snapped her fingers to appear above Kinga, who tried to make a move, but out of nowhere, she appeared inside a cube. Merlin then pointed with a finger to make a bolt of lightning come out, which hit Kinga squarely, causing her to leave the place. Next fight, Mael against Todoroki. Todoroki. It is said that you are the strongest in your group, I want to check that. He said it by throwing ice at Mael, who only raised her hand to throw a small sun which destroyed all the ice and almost hit Todoroki, who had to dodge it, and seeing what could happen if he received a blow of that magnitude, I thought more. Ice along with fire, which Mael only rose into the air, dodging it in a very easy way to launch another cruel sun, hitting one side of the Vi-color, causing it to leave the platform apart from some burns on the body. Next fight, Narabasta against May. I will not say this fight, nor will there be anything else that ended in a draw. Second round, Izuku against Bania, Serial against Gother, Merlin against Mael. Tap 12. After the fights of the first round had passed, the next fights of the second round were being announced, in which the first fight would take place between Izuku the Demon Prince against Bania the Princess of Thieves. The two went up to the platform. Watching, she noticed, because Izuku knew very well not to underestimate her. Bania. It will be an honor to fight the Prince of Demons. Izuku. I know I won't have to underestimate you. Bania went against Izuku, who prepared himself as he dodged a blow from Bania so that he could give him one, causing him to move away so that a fight could begin, in which not everyone could see it due to the speed at which the two were appearing in the room. In the middle of the place, bumping fists to start with a clash of blows in which they did not stop for any reason, although something they noticed was that Izuku's speed dropped along with the force of his blows. Mael. What's wrong? Jiro. What do you mean? Narabasta. Izuku's speed and punches are going down, but why? They watched as Izuku kneeled before Bania. Midnight. Izuku, can you continue? Izuku. Yes, I can. They noticed how Bania had greater muscle mass. Bania. The strength you have is incredible, but we have to end this. He said it by throwing a blow at Izuku, hitting him squarely so that a cloud of dust was created, from which Bania was thrown against the wall, remaining unconscious. Izuku. But I still win. Next fight, Serial against Gother. The two were in front of each other. Serial tried to go against her, but to her surprise, she was able to dodge it, and when she looked where she was, she received a blow so that it threw a current of wind at her, but she continued to be skidded by Gother, which did not received a blow. Narabasta. How is it possible that I can avoid it? Bania. She thoroughly analyzed each one of the class until she knew how to fight. Izuku. So she practically knows how to attack us, but there is a problem. He said it while Serial finally gave him a blow. Izuku. She has to know how to use her speed if Serial uses more speed and tricks her. They saw how Serial finally managed to land some blows that no one could believe, but they saw how when Serial gave her an attack that took her off the east platform, it also ended in a tie. Momo. What happened? Elizabeth. Why did Serial leave? Izuku. I see, in that last blow Serial got touched by Gother, and she caused him to disqualify himself. If she doesn't win she will make everyone lose something quite intelligent. Next fight Merlin against Mael. Merlin. La más fuerte, prove you limit. Mael. It would be bad for you to know that I have no limits. Merlin tried to lock her in the perfect cube, but she was able to get out to go against Merlin, who she hit, but she began to fly to see Mael to launch a lightning bolt, but Mael dodged it without receiving a single scratch to launch. A cruel son, but Merlin protected himself with his perfect cube. Izuku Interessante. Elizabeth. What? Izuku. Merlin wants to see his maximum power, but I want to test his maximum power. They saw how Merlin began to cast a spell, but before she finished it, Mael appeared behind her and threw her to the floor with one blow to appear in front of her and cast a cruel sun which hit her squarely, although she was able to cover herself a little although that didn't happen. I stop him from leaving the place. Before he does anything Izuku jumps to the platform. Izuku. I can't wait to fight you. Mael. It's almost noon. Tab 13. After the fights of the second round, the last one was going to begin, having the strongest that everyone looked at from very powerful clans, Izuku the demon prince and the strongest of these against Mael, the strongest warrior of the goddesses, with the two staring. Mael. Are you sure you want to fight? Izuku. It's approaching noon and your power will be at its maximum, and I want a good fight. Mael. Don't regret it. Mael went against Izuku, just as he bumped fists making a tremor in the place. Izuku tried to hit him, but Mael dodged it to hit Izuku, which he also managed to dodge. Well, the two had a smile, although they noticed the mark of Izuku's first phase which went to the second phase. Mael. So serious if we're just getting started. Izuku. And this is what I wanted. Izuku hits her to appear behind her and kicks her, so that Mael turns around and goes against Izuku and hits her to launch a cruel sun, but Izuku manages to dodge so that her dark matter hits her in the face. Stomach away the. Budocial. I didn't think I saw this. Momo. What? Budocial. Mael has a smile during this fight, something I never saw before. Izuku. Hey Merlin, you can make a perfect cube. At that point, they were locked in a bucket so that Izuku could go against Mael, who hit him and sank him to the floor, but he got up to knee him in the pair, making him go backwards, but she hit him. Fully. Mael. I'm getting stronger and I'm going to give everything in exchange for what? Izuku. You're right, I'll do my best. He said it while a tornado of darkness was made, which became smaller until Izuku was seen in assault mode, which appeared in front of Mael, giving it a blow, causing it to collide with the bouncing cube to go back to Izuku. Which put his arm causing him to hit his face and fall to the floor. Izuku. That's all. She saw how Mael got up, but it was starting to get hotter than before, so Mael took a few steps against Izuku, but with each step she took, she made him sink to the floor. Izuku. So you're going to be a little more serious. Izuku goes to give him some blows which were blocked by Mael, who gives him a blow which takes him back. Mael. It's already noon, it's time to finish this fight. Izuku. I say the same. All of Izuku's darkness begins to be seen, letting everyone see a huge aura of darkness which began to concentrate on his fist. Well, the same thing happened with Mael, who concentrated her light on one fist so that one goes against the other. The bump fists making everyone feel the clash of the two attacks which created a cloud of dust which was the perfect cube, but when the cloud of dust left they saw Izuku and Mael still bumping fists, but Izuku knelt on the floor, making them think that Mael won, but they saw how the girl fell to the floor, while Izuku raised his head with a smile of victory to take Mael's arm and help her get up by putting an arm behind her neck for when the doctors came. They took them. Midnight. The winner is Izuku. The while passed and Izuku along with Mael were able to be on the platform, although they could only be there for a while to return to the infirmary. Izuku first, Mael second, and Gother third with Serial they shared. Izuku. Hey Mael, big fight. Mael just gave a smile. After that they were taken to the infirmary. In Izuku's part he was bandaged apart from lying on the bed, but through the curtains Narabasta entered, who was looking at Izuku. Narabasta. My revenge begins. He said it while putting on Izuku's enzyme to remove the sheets to start touching him. Narabasta. I would have to wake him up. Until he touched Izuku's pants, feeling his member begin to blush, but he continued touching it because he couldn't find an end to it. Narabasta. Doesn't this have an ending? That's when Izuku woke up looking at the door, but they heard the door open. Narabasta mind. I can't let anyone see me like this. The curtains opened, being the archangels without Mael, but with Elizabeth, who saw nothing but an empty bed, but underneath it were Izuku and I'm from Narabasta. Udosiel. Why did we come? Elizabeth. To see how Izuku is after all, he showed us that he was a good person after all. Serial. It seems like he recovered quickly from his injuries. Tarmiel. Or it's under the bed. Upon hearing that, the two of them got nervous because if they found them in that pose, they didn't know what they would do. Serial looked under the bed but didn't see anything. Serial. There is nothing. They didn't see each other because Izuku learned a skill in which he could make an illusion, but in order for him to do it with another person, they would have to be together in a way, so they were giving each other a tongue kiss. Serial. Wait, there's something. Hearing that, Narabasta grabbed Izuku to bring him closer to her, maintaining the kiss in a more passionate way. Serial. A coin. After that the four of them left so that Izuku and Narabasta could come out of hiding. Izuku. That was close. Narabasta. Yes, although I liked it. I say the last thing in a low voice so that Izuku doesn't hear it, but out of pity he listens to it. Izuku. By the way, why were you there? Narabasta. I wanted revenge on you. Izuku put her on the bed face down, making her look back at Izuku who was staring at him. Izuku. I know you like me, but one of these days I'll make you mine. After that he left. Chap 14. After the sports festival everyone was taking a break, although it was said that there would be some rooms to share between 4 people, although for the moment it would be done by roping, but later they could choose for themselves how they want their roommates to be, being the one from Izuku from Narabasta, Mael and Momo being in the same room, although now Izuku was going to train. Hiroshima. Izuku, what are you going to do? Izuku. I'm just going to train. Before leaving without anyone noticing, he shined an eye at Narabasta, making her blush without anyone noticing. Izuku went to the forest, but when he was walking calmly, a dark matter covered everything, so he looked attentively until he noticed Melascula and Derriere. Izuku. What's wrong? Melascula. Nothing, we just want to have something with you. He said it while Derriere began to kiss him while he took off his clothes, so he understood why he started talking to the girls. Melascula. Let's see how it feels to have the demon prince. Derriere. We will be in control of this. Izuku. That you will be in control. When he said that in a single movement he took off Melascula's clothes while they looked at Izuku's member. Izuku. Let's see what they're going to do. Lemon skipped please read it on website. Izuku. Don't worry, I'll make you mine. He said it while Narabasta let it all out and since it was something in Izuku's hand he took it making him blush. Izuku. But not today. After that he left the room. Chap 15. After Izuku has had hex with Derriere and Melascula, apart from seeing Narabasta, what he was doing right now in the room, they were deciding on the topic of internships, so that Izuku and Mael are the ones who have the most surprising topic of internships. To everyone, although not so much because of their power. Midnight. Everyone will have to choose their names today. Everyone would be passing like the original story until Izuku's turn came. Izuku. Mine will be the Dragon of Wrath. Everyone would wonder why that name until they started to choose the internships. When everyone chose their internships the days passed until each one went to their own, but when they got to their place they saw some girls. Izuku. Hello. Merlin. Hello. Hinga. Apparently we ended up in the same internship. Anya. With the Ryukyu heroine. Ryukyu. Hello everyone, I'm going to call you by your normal names, but by hero names. Merlin. I am Merlin the Boar of Gluttony. Anya. The Fox of Greed. Hinga. The Sloth Bear. Author. The Goat of Lust. Diane. The Snake of Envy. Izuku. I am the Dragon of Anger. Ryukyu. They seem like a group already formed. Izuku. If so, we should call ourselves the Deadly Sins. Ryukyu. Anyway, they will have to do missions like patrolling, nothing more. The days passed and the girls got to know each other better, with Izuku going through everything normal until one day when Izuku went to sleep something strange happened. When he went to sleep the boy appeared in a landscape that was a destroyed kingdom. Izuku. And this place. This place is where the captain and I once fought. Izuku. Who are you? The being that is launched by enzyme of all races Escanor-sama the Lion of Pride. The skinny man said it. At that moment they began to talk about Escanor's entire life, up to his death. Escanor. Now let's fight. Izuku. Okay. Escanor began to increase in size, while Izuku's demonic mark appeared in the second phase. Izuku. List. Escanor. So that you lose, yes. Izuku went against Escanor against whom he only blocked with his axe, but before he did anything, Escanor received a blow to the back, followed by another to the stomach, moving him away, but Izuku received a direct hit, causing him to end up moving away, so that he saw a cruel sun. Izuku. Full counter. He returned the sun that Escanor dodged so that the big man received a cut in the chest but took Izuku's face to crash it against the floor to throw him away. But Izuku rejoined to go against Escanor, who tried to cut him with his axe, but Izuku dodged it in time to try to hit him on the knee, but Escanor managed to dodge the blow to kick Izuku, sending him flying crashing into several houses but he came out of the rubble to see Escanor raising his axe ready to lower it, but before he does Izuku pierced his stomach with his sword so that the dark flames would make him fall to the floor. Izuku. Damn, even with my demonic mark to the second phase one couldn't do much. He begins to feel an increase in heat to see Escanor who got up to give him a blow that sent him very far, but the most notable thing was his increase in size. Izuku. Damn it. In his hand appeared the flames of Purgatory that he threw against Escanor, which when they collided made an enormous trail of dust. Escanor. That's all. Izuku. Finish with this. He took out his assault mode to go against the Lion of Pride, but this one received the attack squarely, but when he turned around he saw fire coming out of it. Escanor. The one. Izuku made an enormous amount of darkness appear to go against Escanor, but he moved his hand a little as if nothing had happened. Escanor. Sword of Escanor. The attack cut Izuku and he fell to the floor completely unconscious, so he returned to reality seeing the girls. Diane. What happened to you? Izuku. I don't know, I had a strange dream about a man named Escanor. Diane. You consists of Escanor. At that point the girls told him that they also knew Escanor. CAP 16. After the internships, everyone was in class telling them what happened to them and how they were each in their place until Izawa came in and told them to put on their hero clothes and go out since they were going to take a test. Momo. Izawa-sensei, what test are we going to do? Izawa. The test will be teachers against students. They saw all the teachers in front of them, the test would be explained like the original story until the teams would be made in which Izuku would end up with Mael teaming up against All Might. Mael. You better not hinder me in this test. Izuku. Actually I would have to say that. Mael. Why? Izuku. As far as I know, I won at the sports festival. Mael. Anything else? Izuku. Yes, I was the one who saved you from being eaten by an Endura. They continued arguing as if they were a hunted couple until Mina said a few words. Mina. It's so cute, they look like a married couple. Between the two. Of course not. Okoyami. They even talk at the same time. The two stopped talking as they looked elsewhere, but when Mael looked at Izuku for a second, an image of the two of them hunting on an altar came to mind, so she blushed and turned around until her turn came. And the two went. Izuku. Our opponent is All Might. Mael. Any ideas? Izuku. Yes, fight him head on. At that point a cloud of dust appeared. Izuku. And it's here. All Might. Hahaha, that's young Izuku. Izuku. Mael on the count of 3. Mael. Yes. Izuku. Why 3? The two disappeared to reappear each one at All Might's side, but they received a blow from him sending them flying, but Izuku got up to go against All Might, who upon seeing this only prepared for his attack, but did not wait for a cruel sun that would hit him. Hit him in the back, followed by a giant blow of dark matter from Izuku that sent him crashing into a building. Izuku. We'll have to be quick. He said it while using his dark matter to launch the attack against All Might, keeping him on the floor, but little by little he got up, although he did not expect the price to increase, so that Mael threw fire at the blonde who could not do anything. Izuku. Vaemons. The two began to leave for the exit. All Might. They don't think they can escape. It was said by the blonde who rushed towards them, but Izuku realized that Mael was going to receive the attack, so he pushed her, ending up being the one who received it, sending him flying, so that the blonde could see Mael, but he received a full blow from Izuku. Izuku. Don't believe it, I won't let you hurt her. The boy would begin to fight against the hero who remained even against Izuku, with a demonic mark in the second phase, until he moved away, standing next to Mael, staring at All Might. Mael. A better plan. Izuku. Yes, what happens if dark energy meets pure energy? Mael. They explode. Izuku. You are. Everyone sees how the two hold hands to put their bodies together to slowly form a sphere that had black parts and other white parts. Izuku. Mael. Light and dark. The two launched the attack, hitting All Might squarely, causing him to fly into some buildings, knocking them down in the process. Izuku. Now. The two ran but Izuku stayed behind Mael. Mael. Izuku, why are you staying back? The white-haired girl fell when she saw All Might who tried to hit Izuku, but he disappeared to have All Might in a grip behind him. Izuku. Mael, throw all your fire, now and run. The girl moved away to throw all her fire as she left, but Izuku and All Might, upon receiving it, Izuku locked them in a huge dome of darkness. They continued in that way, being burned and enduring all the heat until Mael was heard passing through. That Izuku decided the dome to fall to the floor with smoke coming out of his body. Pap 17. After Izuku and Mael did the teacher versus student test so that they ended up defeating All Might, Izuku was currently in the medical department due to the injuries he had from Mael's fire and All Might's blows just when he woke up and his companions entered. Izuku? Is something wrong? Hiroshima. It was great how you faced All Might alone. Izuku. In fact it was Mael and I who fought All Might. Haminari. I still can't believe how you stayed behind to make Mael cross the finish line. Lita. A great strategy for you to stay behind, sacrificing yourself so that Mael can pass. Izuku. Anyway, I have to go to my room. Ejiro. But you still can't. He fell silent when he saw how Izuku got up, as if nothing had happened to put on his clothes. Izuku. Much better. Hiroshima. And you get up as if nothing had happened. Izuku. Let's go. Everyone went to classes where Izawa was. Izawa. Those who passed the exam will be able to go to the camp, while those who did not pass will also go, but they will be worse off than the others. Today and tomorrow, they will be able to go to the shopping center to buy the things they need. Everyone just got up from their seats to leave the room. Izawa. I don't think I ever had to say that. Everyone in one way or another was in the mall to do their shopping. Everyone was shopping until Mael called Izuku to a part where no one would see them. Izuku. Do you need something? Mael. I just wanted to say thank you. Izuku. Mael. You saved me from one more blow than another from All Might, for that I thank you. Izuku. It's nothing. Mael. Isn't it anything? I know you want something in return, what do you want? My body, money, fame. Izuku. I already have all that, I'm not interested in anything at the moment other than making myself stronger. Mael. Stronger? Izuku. Yes, sooner or later I will be the next demon king. I owed the damn old man that beating, and I wasn't going to let him touch you. Mael remembered a part when All Might was going to hit her Izuku. I won't let you touch her, that made her blush, so she would notice how Izuku was leaving, so she followed him to where the others were. They were walking for a while until Izuku I noticed how a man was bothering me in a position. Man. Do you want to die? Seller. We just told you nicely. Before the man did anything Izuku tapped him on the shoulder. Izuku. Hey, calm down, don't want to fight her ya. The man just looked at him. Man. Do you want to die, boy? Izuku. Look, I only see that there are problems, and that's why I got involved. There are too many people to start a separate fight, they didn't want to fight with me. The two looked at each other defiantly until the man just left. Lita. Izuku, you must not. Izuku. Shut up already, if there are problems I will always get involved. It took 2 days for everyone to have their things ready to go to camp, although they had to take a bus for this. Pap 18. After everyone went inside the store, apart from finishing the shopping, they ended up on the bus spending some time being calm, although they talked about anything to be able to be entertained for the moment, but a girl thought of something. Mina. Elizabeth. Elizabeth. You are. Mina. Izuku took us to his world, and I was wondering if you could take us to yours too. Elizabeth. I should talk to my mother about it. Hiroshima. It would be great to see the world of the goddesses. Ludociel. Our world is much better than that of the demons. He was trying to provoke Izuku, but nothing happened. Ludociel. But obviously Izuku couldn't go. Ejiro. Why not? Ludociel. It's a demon, no demon is allowed to go. Mael. In exchange for the supreme deity giving him permission. That's when they arrived at the place, doing the same thing as in the original story, until they ended up destroying the floor when everyone tried to escape, but when they reached the floor, everyone was lying on the floor except Izuku and Mael. Izuku. Being from the clan of the goddesses having wings and they couldn't avoid that fall. Mael. Sometimes I find it hard to believe this. In that, like the original story, everyone got up but didn't know what to do. Mina. What will we do now? Izuku. I would say everyone go to the tower apart from having to make a group to protect all sides from the robots. Hiroshima. That sounds good. Haminari. A good plan. Diane. Good plan, Captain. All. Captain. Merlin. Izuku is the leader of the 7 deadly sins, that is, us. Izuku. Anyway, let's get started. That way they began to go to the place destroying all the robots until they arrived in a better state than the original story. Mandalay. Well, everyone go to the hot springs, today we will cook, but the following days from tomorrow you will be the ones who will cook. That way everyone went to the hot springs being calm, although as in the original story, Mineta would try to see the girls, but Kota would prevent him, but when Kota was going to fall Izuku took him. Izuku. Sate, estás bien. Kota. Yes, thank you. Izuku. You're in a very dangerous part, you better be a little safer. That way he left Kota in a part where he would be safe so that the next day everyone could start training without any problem until the night came where everyone was fine apart from cooking, but they noticed something. Budociel. Hey Demon Bago, come cook. Izuku. Seguro. Budociel. Yes. Bania. No, stay there, I won't let you near the kitchen. That made everyone sweat. Serial. Why won't they let him cook? Merlin. If you value your life, never eat his food. Carmiel. I don't think it's that bad. Izuku. Then try this. She had an apple pie in her hand. Carmiel. It looks very good. Serial. Apart from being very rich. Budociel. Let's see why they say we shouldn't try this. They each took a piece to take a small bite, making their eyes widen. Izuku. And how do you know? Improve something in the kitchen. Out of nowhere the two of them fell to the floor completely unconscious, apart from starting to vomit. Diane. That should be the food of death. Author. A very powerful attack, whoever eats a whole piece will surely die. That surprised everyone. Hap 19. After the boys arrived at the camp where they relaxed and began to train, although the most important part was that everyone saw how dangerous Izuku's food was to any being on the planet, so that currently everyone will be calm, although some are sleeping. While Izuku walked calmly. Izuku. There's something wrong. He said it while looking at other parts of the forest, while Kota was about to die by a villain, but Izuku hit a villain sending him flying. Izuku. Sate, it seems that some villains have no honor in trying to kill a child. Kota. That's the villain who killed my parents. Izuku. Who are you? Villain. I am Muscular, I came to kill All Might, but I will settle for the eldest son of the Demon King. Izuku. Well, prepare yourself because you're going to lose. Muscular. We'll see about that. Muscular went against Izuku who was only looking at him to give him a blow that sent him flying before Kota's gaze. Izuku. Kota. City. C. Izuku. Go hide, things are going to get ugly. City. C. The boy went to hide while Izuku revealed his demonic mark in the first phase, and Muscular approached. Muscular. Let's see how long you can against me. Muscular went against Izuku who dodged his blows to kick him in the face, making him look up, followed by a blow to the stomach taking out all the air, so that Muscular tried to hit Izuku, but he dodged it so that he would take out his sword and stuck it in Muscular's stomach, making him spit out a little blood. Muscular grabbed Izuku's head, but he smiled so that dark flames came out of the sword, making Muscular fall to the floor. Izuku. I think it's over. He saw how Muscular changed his eyes to stand up with an angry face at Izuku, who had a smile on his face. Izuku. When your smile changes to great despair that gives me great joy. Muscular. Damn, let's see if you can handle that. He tried to give him a blow that Izuku dodged as if nothing had happened to give him a blow that sent him flying as if nothing had happened. With a jump he reached in front of Muscular to take the fall, and with a turn he threw him away from the place so that it would end. Crashing into some rock so that Izuku could get closer to Muscular, who ended up kneeling so that Izuku could put his foot on his head. Izuku. I hope everything is understood. He said it to deliver a blow that left the villain in a crater, and Izuku looked at Kota. Izuku. Alright Kota, let's go. Izuku started walking. Kota. Be careful. Muscular. Now let's see what you do. Muscular was about to hit Izuku, but he turned around to throw a piece of cake, hitting Muscular squarely in the face. Izuku. Secret attack, final semi-death. But that Muscular gave a heartbreaking scream so that he ended up on the floor unconscious. Izuku. List. Kota's mental note. Never eat his food. He thought about it so that they would leave and everything would happen like the original story. Hap 20. After the camp has been attacked by the League of Villains, ending in them taking Bakugo, everything happened like the original story of the boys planning how to go after Bakugo, but they didn't count on someone listening to them so they approached them. Izuku. With which they plan to go for Bakugo. Inventions. C. Todoroki. You'll tell the teachers. Izuku. No, I'm going with you. That surprised them all. Izuku. I don't have much to do in this place, but I also can't let my companions go into danger alone. At this they smiled so they could go after Bakugo although they had to change. Todoroki. I understand my character and the costumes, but there is something I still don't understand. Hiroshima. What time is it? Todoroki. Why does Momo have to pretend to be Izuku's girlfriend? Everyone looked at how the Raven girl was very attached to the boy. Momo. Why yes, and the villain groups have at least one girl who has a boyfriend. Izuku. Let's just do this once. Everyone began to walk until they reached where the villains were, walking among them, although some of them stared at Momo, wanting to get closer to her, but Izuku with one look with those dark eyes, sent them running to a part where they were alone. Izuku. Well, each of us will form a group and we will go our separate ways. Kirishima. What? Izuku. Kirishima will go with Lita, Todoroki with Izumi and Momo with me. Izumi. Why do they fight well together? Izuku. No, because he won't let go of me. It shows that while he moved his arm the girl did not let go, each one took their own path starting to walk. Momo. Izuku, are you sure about this? Izuku. Yes, apart from the fact that if I could beat the second or third strongest in the League of Villains, I can beat the rest. They walked until they left the place seeing everything destroyed. Izuku. Momo, the others are there, go. Momo. And you. Izuku. I'll be fine but go now. The Raven girl paid attention while Izuku watched as the villain surrounded Bakugo. Bakugo. What are you slags waiting for? Before they made a move they saw a pillar of darkness form behind Bakugo, through which Izuku appeared. Bakugo. Deku. Izuku. You better shut up Muslim. Bakugo. What are you calling me? He fell silent because Izuku took him by the arm to throw him away to where the others were. Tamura. How brave of you. Izuku. You better go prepare the Vasi line because I'm going to destroy your asses. Toga. Leaf. Tamura went against Izuku, but the boy hit him sending him flying followed by dodging Davi's fire to kick him, but before they did anything else All Might arrived at the place so he could start fighting All for One, having the same fight until the part that All for One was beginning to have the advantage. All for One. T-Matter. It ended with a kick from Izuku that sent him flying. All Might. Izuku. Recover your strength, I'll take care of him for the moment. Izuku jumped in front of All for One to start hitting him, not allowing the villain to defend himself at some point until he managed to hit Izuku, sending him flying, but the boy took out the demonic mark phase 2 to return. Against All for One fist bumping followed by another fist bump. All for One. You don't think it was stupid of you to do this thing about fighting with me? Izuku. Then let's try something. The boy cut him on the chest followed by another on the leg, making him angry. All for One. Damn, I'll kill you. Before he hit Izuku he ended up on the floor unable to move. All for One. What's wrong with me? Izuku. It is my commandment of love, anyone who feels hatred in my presence will not be able to attack or harm anyone. All for One. Maldito. Before he could do anything, he ended up with a blow from All Might that hit him squarely, leaving him on the floor and creating a crater. Izuku. Todo si termino. All Might. That's right but Izuku. Before I said anything else Izuku left using his dark matter wings. Pap 21. After Izuku had helped All Might in the fight against All for One, so that now everything was in the class being calm while they watched as Izawa entered the place in front of everyone's sight, but not only him but 3 other people whom he noticed. Izuku making him smile. Izawa. Luckily for us today some students from the 3rd year classes are coming, they are known as the Big 3. The 3 were introduced as the original story in which Najire would begin to ask each one passing between the benches until she reached Izuku's, in which it was more different. Najire. It seems like you're finally going to be able to show a little more power. Izuku. And I didn't show the commandments. The girl got Izuku's enzyme making the others jealous. Najire. I hope you prepare because when you are the Demon King I will be your queen. That only made the girls more jealous of what Najire said. Mirio. I would like to fight against the rest of the class since I fought against Izuku before. Izuku. Well let's start with the fun. Everyone left to prepare to fight Mirio, although Izuku stayed in the stands with Najire and Tamaki, watching how they were going to fight. Izuku. This will be better than I thought. Najire. How long do you think it will last? Izuku. No mucho. They saw that the fight against Mirio in Class 1 happened like the original story, although they managed to give Mirio some blows because of the archangels and the sins that only looked at things. Izuku. Well now that I'm done I have to go do some things. Najire. See you later Izu. She gave him a kiss on the mouth which surprised him and was noticed by the girls who were furious. Narabasta. If it weren't bad, I swear I would go against her. After everyone recovered they were quiet in the dormitory room. Elizabeth. Good news, my mother gave us permission to go. Zero. Then let's go. The while passed and everyone was ready to go to Izuku for a pillar of light to appear, taking everyone to a kind of kingdom that had many clouds in addition to a lot of light. Todoroki. It's the complete opposite of Purgatory. Mael. Well Izuku, you have to come so you can talk to the supreme deity. The boy nodded to begin to continue being frowned upon by all of the goddess clan, who kept staring at Izuku who ignored the stares. Mael. Don't you care if they look at you badly? Izuku. As long as they don't try anything like attacking me, I won't do anything. Mael. And here I thought you were going to let out a killer instinct or something. Izuku. In fact I do it in Purgatory so that everyone knows of my presence. They walked to where the supreme deity was. Izuku. Hello. Deity. So this is the son of the Demon King. Izuku. It's a pleasure to see I'm Izuku. Dead. I already know. Izuku. I imagined that, but I still have to present myself well before a deity as powerful as it is beautiful before me. If it weren't for the light that the supreme deity gave off, anyone would see a blush on his face. Dead. I understand that they will stay here for a few days, so I left some rooms where they can sleep. Izuku. Thank you very much. The boy went with Mael directly to where the bedrooms of that place would be, but something that the supreme deity did not know was that her daughter Elizabeth managed to see her blush since she was the only one who could see among all that light. Chapter 22. After everyone went to the kingdom of the goddesses, finding the beautiful place so that Izuku was taken to speak to the supreme deity, having a few words with it only to be taken to his room. At this moment Izuku was in front of the rooms. Thinking which one was going to be his. Izuku. What will my room be? Narabasta. Out of shame you have to share rooms since there are no more. Izuku. Being the place where the goddesses live, I thought there would be more rooms, but well, who do I have to share with? Narabasta. With the daughter of the supreme deity I assure you not. Carmiel. Don't look at me. Serial. Me least, I want to rest a little. Udosiel. I'm going to end up killing him. Mela. I can be with him. That surprised everyone who looked at her. Mela. I am the strongest and we are in our territory so the power of a demon is less. Narabasta. But Miss Maela, leave it to me, I can't let an archangel sleep in the same bed with the son of the Demon King. Todoroki. What if they change? Everyone looked at the Vi-color. Todoroki. If you complain so much about this then keep changing, one day it will be Maela, the next Narabasta, and that way until we leave. Momo. To be honest, it sounds like a good plan, apart from that I would also like to take the risk of sharing my room with Izuku. Elizabeth. Well, we'll do that. Izuku. You made me mad. The boy left the place without anyone paying attention to him. Izuku was walking through the streets of the kingdom of the goddesses being frowned upon by everyone who showed faces of anger, hatred among other negative things. Izuku. Come on, if you have something to say, just say it, nothing bad is going to happen. At those words everyone began to insult Izuku apart from throwing one thing or another at him while the boy was alone walking, but now that I felt more uncomfortable than normal, I walked into the forest to a part where the boy was going to be alone sitting on the edge. From a free-for-all although the things that had enzyme that were like tomatoes, stones among other things were removed a little, but from one moment to the next all that disappeared surprising Izuku who looked back seeing the supreme deity, although now he was a larger size normal to the one before, except that she didn't have that light on her face, but rather blonde hair like the sun itself with blue eyes that reflected the sea only having one word and it was beauty. Izuku. Hello. Supreme deity. Hello Izuku, it's obvious that the townspeople didn't like you very much. Izuku. I don't blame them, it's normal, at the beginning in Purgatory the demons wanted to kill Elizabeth if it weren't for the fact that they had a seal that showed that she was under my care. Supreme deity. Can I sit? Izuku. And why not, it's your kingdom in any case. The deity sat next to Izuku, having a view of the clouds, although if they looked down, they could barely see the normal world. Izuku. It's a beautiful sight, don't you think? Supreme deity. Yes, the truth is that if it becomes, tell me something Izuku. Izuku. Yes, deity. Supreme deity. Call me Gabriella, it is my real name, but only when we are alone. Izuku. Okay Gabriella, what do you want to know? Gabriella. When I found out about the Demon King's new son, I knew one thing, and that was that the Demon King had not had a son since the death of Meliodas. Besides, there was no candidate for the position of Demon King, which brings me to where did you come from? Izuku was surprised by this, so he could only tell his life story from when he was born with his family, so that he was rejected, forgotten, mistreated until he met the Demon King. Izuku. And that was practically my life. Gabriella. I am very sorry for what happened to you, I hope that one day you find greater happiness than the ones you have now. Izuku. I don't know if such a thing is possible. At that Gabriella took his hand making him look at her. Gabriella. Anything is possible as long as you have a woman by your side. The blonde gave a smile to Izuku who blushed at such an act, but then the deity put on his light again as the archangels and Elizabeth arrived. Elizabeth. Here you are Izuku, I was worried for a moment thinking that the townspeople could hurt you. Izuku. Nothing happened to me, as you can see I'm just talking to your mother, nothing more. The boy showed a smile, so that everyone would return to the kingdom. When night came, the first to share his room was Narabasta, then the two of them were in the room. Izuku. Good night sleep. The boy lay down on the floor. Narabasta. You know you can get on the bed. Izuku. What? Narabasta. Yes. Izuku climbed onto the bed to lie down with Narabasta, who turned her back to him, but in a moment she felt them touching her breasts, making her look back. Izuku. I don't think we're going to sleep all night. The pink-haired girl could only blush as she thought about what was coming to her right now. Chapter 23. After Izuku spoke a little with the supreme deity, already knowing his true name, he ended up leaving the place so that he ended up in a room next to Narabasta, who was currently being hugged by Izuku, who had a smile while Narabasta was only blushing. Because of how the boy had it apart from feeling something. Narabasta. Izuku, you know that you don't need to sleep with a sword, nor have it so close to my butt. Izuku. That's good because it's not my sword. The woman was blushing at the thought that she would end up being lifted up seeing how she was now without clothes, while Izuku was in the same way, although the boy directly had his member rubbing against Narabasta's intimacy. Narabasta. What are you going to do? Izuku. We're just going to have a little fun, nothing more. The boy ended up putting his member into Narabasta's hussy, making her moan at this, but her mouth was covered by Izuku's hand. Izuku. Wait, you don't want everyone to hear us or do you? Narabasta. No, I don't want them to listen to us. Izuku. That's how it is said and now you will be mine. Narabasta. I will be yours. The boy would begin to move, causing Narabasta to end up moaning from the pleasure he felt, while Izuku only moved her while sucking on her breasts, who could only enjoy the pleasure she had from the boy who was giving her, feeling like Narabasta was too tight for him. So he tried to contain himself so as not to let out everything he had inside with the goddess who was only lost in pleasure until with one last attack the boy let it all out inside Narabasta, who could only give a muffled scream because he boy was already kissing her. Izuku. Who do you belong to Narabasta? Narabasta. I belong to you Izuku-sama. The boy had a smile, but he noticed how he fell asleep, so he did the same to sleep with the woman on his chest. The next day everyone had to leave the world of the goddesses. Lita. We have to go, we almost forgot about the cultural festival. Elizabeth. Okay, bye, Mom. Supreme Deity. Come back whenever you want, the doors will always be open for all of you. In a moment the woman was behind Izuku. Supreme Deity. But the next time you come back you will do to me the same thing that you did to Narabasta yesterday. With that, Izuku had a smile on his face as he just left the place with the rest of the class so that they ended up at the doors of UA. Izawa. And how did it go? Alright. Izawa. I'm glad because now they forget that they have a lot of homework. But that everyone had a shiver remembering that they didn't do their homework. Chapter 24. After everyone left the kingdom of the goddesses, although now Izuku knew of one more woman being the supreme deity who wanted to grape him in a certain way, so that they ended up back in their world, although with hundreds of tasks because of Izawa for having he left as if nothing had happened without having done his homework. Now Izuku was sharing a room with Narabasta who was a little nervous. Narabasta. We are not going to talk about what happened there, yes. Izuku. And what are you going to tell me? You know that you are free to say what you want and ask me for what you want. Narabasta. I just wanted to know why you did it. But that question Izuku had a smile to give a kiss to the girl who was in front of him, surprising her. Izuku. Isn't it obvious? I like you and you are going to be part of the next queens of Purgatory and the clan of the goddesses, although there is something I have to do, and that is make you mine. But that Narabasta blushed until he gave her another kiss. Izuku. Although something tells me that you want more than just kisses. Narabasta. If you want, you can do it to me again. But that the boy took off her clothes while leaving her on the bed. Izuku. Now you will be mine. Lemon skipped please read it on website. The five of them lay down on the bed, although the girls hugged Izuku who only did the same. Chapter 25. After Izuku had had more girls in his harem, the boy was just walking calmly as if no problem was happening, although when he walked through the dorms, he noticed how his classmates were talking about something among themselves, so he only approached to see that it was a girl. Little Alvina. Izuku. And this girl. Sigh. This girl's name is Eri. The boy only knelt at the height of the girl who was staring at the boy who appeared in front of her. Izuku. So you're that girl that was talked about a little bit. Eri. Who are you? Izuku. My name is Izuku Demon, it's a pleasure. Mirio. Hey, Izuku was about to show Eri about the cultural festival, what it's going to be like. Do you want to come? Izuku. I don't have anything better to do anyway. The three of them began to walk, seeing how those blondes took the girl already walking down the street. Izuku. So Eri, what is your power? Eri. Well, I can only do some things that I still don't know how to do well. Izuku. I don't understand. Mirio. What happens is that she doesn't know how to control her power. Izuku. Yuvio. Mirio. If you can wait for me a little, I have to do some things. The blonde began to walk away, while Izuku only took Eri to start walking with her. Eri? Shouldn't we wait for Mirio? Izuku? Well, that's not necessary, we came to see what the cultural festival is going to be like, not to wait for another blonde. Eri? Okay. They walked until they bumped into something, so that Izuku saw some kind of dragon head. Tesu? Hey, be careful, or it's you Izuku. Hello. Izuku? Hello Tesu, what do you plan to do with this? Tesu? Pensamos. Monoma. We are thinking of doing the work of Romeo and Juliet in order to overshadow the. He fell silent due to receiving a kick from Izuku that sent him flying before the eyes of Class B. Tesu? Thank you for that, I couldn't stand it anymore. Izuku? Don't worry, I needed to hit something anyway. They heard a light laugh to see Eri, who brought out the smile she had. Eri? I would have hit him a little harder. Izuku? And why is that? Eri? Well, he's getting up. At that he noticed how Monoma began to get up with difficulty. Izuku was about to leave him alone, but he remembered that they told him about a certain Eri who could never show a smile or laugh. Izuku? Well, sometimes I like to make smiles. Hey Monoma, come a little more, I need something. He said it as he approached the blonde who tried to escape but couldn't. After that day Monoma was never heard from again. Now he was walking with little Eri until they reached a part of beauty. Najire? Hey guys. They saw the girl who came down. Izuku? Hello Najire, I haven't seen you in a while. Najire? Also, what are you doing with little Eri? Izuku? Well, I'm showing him the cultural festival. Eri? And a funny thing. He said it with a slight smile that was barely noticeable, but with all the luck in the world, Najire noticed it. Najire? How did you make her smile? Izuku? I have my secrets, but well, it seems that at the end of everything you got into this. Najire? Yes, but I don't know if I'll be able to win, there is another girl who is very good at this. And that they noticed the previous champion. Izuku? To be honest, I'd rather die ripping out my 7 hearts than go out with her, I hope you win. Najire? Thank you. He watched as the blonde left with Eri, so they were having a milkshake. Izuku? So what happened to you? Eri? What are you talking about? Izuku? Well, I can see that you don't plan to smile or anything like that, and I understand you. You see, in the past when I was your age, my family treated me like pure scum for not doing anything in particular. I was practically rejected because of my blood. With that, Eri took a little confidence in Izuku to start telling him about everything that happened to her when she was little, making Izuku understand quite well what that little girl was going through. Izuku? Okay, Eri, do you want to see something cute? Eri? Okay. Izuku? In that case I want you to get on my back. The girl ordered them to start flying until they ended up above the clouds looking at the sunset, making Eri see this with a smile, while from below they were being watched by Mirio and Najire. Tap 26. After Izuku took Eri to walk around the place to see what the cultural festival was going to be like, they simply did everything possible so that the girl could smile. Having a small smile when she saw the sunset by enzyme of the clouds with the help of Izuku, was satisfied with that. Now Izuku was walking calmly through the dorms until he noticed how the girls were fixing Eri, making her have a smile. Kirishima? It seems like they're good to Eri. Izuku? Yes, after all, she needs to be accompanied by other women or girls like her. He said it as he walked calmly without any problem towards the kitchen. Kirishima? And yesterday, how was it with Eri? Izuku? Well, let's say I was able to make her smile at least a little. Kirishima? I would like to know how you do that. Izuku? I am the demon prince, I have my ways of being able to do anything else without any problem. Ryu? He's just showing off, trying to show that he's better than us, but the truth is that's not the case. Izuku? And now deal with the reincarnated annoyance. Ryu? What are you calling me? Izuku? What you heard. But that the boy began to get angry, but they were interrupted by Izumi who arrived walking. Izumi? Don't start fighting if we just came to talk. Ryu? Anyway, I'm leaving, I have no intention of putting up with this thing. He said it as he walked away under the gaze of Izuku, who placed it on Izumi, who lowered her head a little. Izuku? Tell me whatever you have to say and be done with it. Izumi? I just want to know if we could go to Purgatory again, I say, to pass the time a little. I noticed how sad she was so that she knew what was happening. Izuku? This isn't your idea, is it? Who told you? Izumi? Nobody. Before he continued he heard the door open and saw Toshinori entering. All Might. You don't need to question her. It was my idea. We wanted that because we wanted to know if you would let us go to Purgatory to spend time with you, and that way, you know, we could be a family again. Izuku? Tell me, can you turn back time? All Might. How? Izuku? What you heard, if you could do it you could avoid all that abuse, leaving me aside, comparing me to those two useless people, saying that they were the best. All Might. Unfortunately I can't travel in time, but if I could I would, believe me. Izuku. I'll tell you something, if I let them go one more time, who's going to go? All Might. Just some important families. Izuku. I accept, but I want the families of all the parents of all the students in class wanted to go, and whoever I let go, just that. All Might. Seems fair to me. But that he left the place walking under the gaze of Izuku, who now looked at Izumi, who became nervous. Izuku. Stop doing that. Those words confused the girl, who looked at him with notable doubt. Izumi. What are you talking about? Izuku. You follow his orders, that way you will never get out of his shadow. If you want to be strong, don't be in anyone's shadow. Izumi. Okay, I'll do it. Hiroshima. If we're going back to Purgatory, I'm going to let everyone know and ask them to invite their parents. He said it while he was leaving the kitchen, being followed by Izumi, who had to say it to the girls under the gaze of Izuku, who leaned back on the table until he heard someone enter, being Narabasta, who noticed how they came out happily. Narabasta. What happened? Izuku. It turns out that they can go back to Purgatory for a while, they will be fine, and with that they will spend longer. Narabasta. Then we will be in the demon world again. At one point she was hugged from behind, only to see how Izuku was not in the same place but behind her, feeling his arms, which made her collide against her body while he spoke in her ear. Izuku. That means we'll have time to ourselves, what do you say? Upon hearing that, he blushed as he began to tremble until the door was opened by Eri, who entered calmly, seeing how only Narabasta was in the kitchen. Eri. Excuse me, but can I have something to drink? The pink-haired girl reacted to start preparing something for the girl to drink, while wondering where Izuku was. Hap 27. Everyone prepared to go to Purgatory, and Izuku, like last time, prepared a seal on each one, ensuring that the time of the place did not affect them. Once done, the young man only made a portal that would take them to that place. Izuku. One more thing for all the families who are going to enter, do not do anything that could harm them, this place is not a playground. Saying that, they entered so they could begin walking through Purgatory, seeing what it was like. All Might. So this is Purgatory, awesome. Sayu. I think it's less scary than last time. Izuku. That's because we are close to the kingdom, we will arrive shortly. But that they began to walk until at one point Izuku stopped. Izumi. What's wrong? Izuku. It's coming again. But saying that, they saw how a ray of light appeared which ended up colliding with Izuku, knocking him to the ground, with Esterasa being the one who had a smile. Esterasa. I was waiting for you for a long time, you should have rushed. She said it while playing with Izuku's head and at the same time had his face between her breasts. Izuku. I just had to do certain things to keep everything under control. But that Eri approached the girl, who only noticed her presence to have a smile. Esterasa. And this girl? Izuku. Her name is Eri, someone I rescued from a villain, and now I'm taking care of her. At these words the girl hugged the girl. Esterasa. It's so cute that I like it, I would like to keep it. Izuku. Anyway, where is the old man? Esterasa. It is where it always is, prepare everything for your arrival. But that they began to walk while they talked among the demons before everyone's eyes, since those from the goddess clan went to the last of everything, especially the girls. Narabasta. I can't believe he seriously keeps touching Izuku like that, I think we should talk to him about this. Elizabeth. Yes, but remember that we agreed to share it. Mael. Although this sharing with demons, I think it's going to be difficult for us. At one point Izuku was behind the three, reaching to touch them at the same time without knowing how. Izuku. Don't worry, just don't get jealous. If we try to make you get along a little better, then we'll have less problems. He said it in a low tone that only they heard, making them blush a little. Izuku. Besides, today we could get to play a little. Mael. Okay, but keep them under control. But that Izuku only went in front of everyone. Inko. Excuse me, but I would like to know what kind of relationship you have with Izuku. Esterasa. Well, a more loving one. Inko. So she's his girlfriend. Esterasa. Yes, one of the few. Inko. Like how many? Esterasa. Yes, apart from the fact that many girls love him, lately we found out that there are fewer high-level demons, so we must look for a way to have more offspring, and luckily we met Izuku, who we liked a lot. Izuku. I still remember when we met for the first time, you said that you were going to hate me among other things, and now you meet me. Esterasa. It's true, one more thing, Zaldris is going to want to kill you. But those words the boy only swallowed. Izuku. Now I don't know if my 7 hearts can withstand the next punishment. Mineta. Damn lucky, he has very pretty girls for him. Haminari. I'm already starting to envy him. Ryu. Yes, but I think we can do something about it. He said it while having a plan in his head. They continued walking until they reached the royal room where they found the Demon King who was only on his enormous throne. Demon King. Hello son, it seems that you came back well in the end. We already prepared a banquet. Izuku. Hello father, it's nice to see you again. At one point he ended up receiving a blow from Zaldris that sent him flying crashing into some rocks. Zaldris. Poor thing, how could you give that to Melascula and Derriere and not us? Izuku. It's nice to see you again Zaldris, and I see that you found out in the end. Derriere. Sorry, we were weak against her. Izuku. That doesn't matter anymore, I would like to know more about what I should do. Zaldris. If you know well what you're going to do tonight. He said it with an ultra-grave look. Demon King. Leave that for another time, now let's go eat. He said it as they began to leave so they could eat. Chapter 28. In Purgatory it was already night and Izuku was only in his room without being able to do anything but lie in his bed looking at the ceiling until he began to feel how they began to touch him, being Zaldris, Esterasa, Melascula and Derriere who were on top of him. Queen equals 5 King. Liz equals 5 Gother. Vania equals 5 Ban. Zaldris. It seems like someone is thinking. Esterasa. But what could it be? Izuku. I'm just thinking about when I have to take the throne as Demon King. I'm not sure and I'm ready for such a thing. Melascula. I don't think it's good that you're thinking about that, at least don't think about it now. Izuku. And what can I think about? I don't have anything else in mind. Zaldris. In that case let us clear your mind a bit. Notice from this point the lemon begins, but I know that a large part of you are not going to skip it. At that moment, the deadly sins began to enter through his door and went directly to the young man's bed, who only looked at this with doubt. Izuku. What's happening? At that point he was kissed by Diane who had a smile for such a thing. Diane. I think it's obvious, we just want you to make us yours. At that the young man only had a smile for such a thing. Izuku. Then it's time to try one of my new abilities. Esterasa. Like new skills. At that point the girls began to be touched by some clones of the young man, making them give little moans because of it. Vania. With more of you, I guess that's pretty good. At that point the girls began to touch the clones like these, just so that they would lose sight of the young man. Queen. Where is he? Izuku. Now you must find the real one among the clones. Lemon skipped, please read it on website. In the other rooms. Udosiel. What the hell just happened? Demon King. My offspring is ensuring your offspring. Serial. You're going to kill them, dog. In this way the night began to pass until Izuku only found the girls asleep before such a thing. Izuku. Vala feels good as always. At that point he began to hear how the door began to open to see how the goddess's girls were entering. Narabasta. This is not over yet. Mael. We are still missing. Izuku. Now they're going to kill me. He said it while the girls began to approach little by little. Chapter 29. It was morning and in a blonde's room he was beginning to wake up as he had his future queens on top of him, who only rested until they had no choice but to wake up due to the young man's movements. Zaldris. Stop moving otherwise I swear I will stab you with a sword. Esterasa. I can still use rebellion despite my current state. Izuku. Even if they want to stay in bed as long as they want, we have no choice but to leave at a moment before everyone starts looking for us, and I can't imagine how they're going to feel if they see us like this. Mael. If my brother arrives, I will throw a cruel sun at him to silence him. Narabasta. I'm not interested in what they try to do, I feel comfortable. Elizabeth. I think the same thing. The young man, faced with this act, had no choice but to somehow get out of bed, only to start walking so he could get dressed, followed by starting to leave his room, leaving the girls inside his room, and he went directly to the throne room of the Demon King, who only noticed the young man's presence. Demon King. Vala, it seems like you really woke up okay. Izuku. So you know what I did if I'm wrong. Demon King. Hey son, I'm the Demon King, obviously I know everything that happens in my kingdom, as if trying to hide something is possible, even though I have bad news for you. Izuku. Now what is it about? Don't tell me it's one of those stupid jokes where everyone can do whatever they want. Demon King. None of that, it's about my throne. By saying that the young man began to get serious as he took a seat at a huge table in the place. Izuku. Now what happens to your throne? Demon King. Well, what is happening is about a very delicate topic, as you know I am very old and all that, but even the Demon King has limits in his life to reign, which is why I must ask you as my son to take the throne soon. Saying that with only those simple words that did not seem like anything echoed in the head of the young man who had his eyes wide open as he stood thinking while everyone began to enter. Hiroshima. Wow, that was a good dream. Haminari. Yes, although I think an event was held yesterday. Sato. Why do they say that? Jiru. Well, there was a lot of applause in that, I don't think it was a good thing. With his words Izuku and the Demon King looked at each other as they made a good decision to keep things quiet while they arrived at the place to have breakfast. All Might. So how long have you known each other? Demon King. When Meliodas' power awakened I was able to have the opportunity to go for him, that way we could meet. Inko. So you say that if he hadn't awakened that power they would never have met. Izuku. In fact, that fact is almost impossible because sooner or later I had to awaken that demonic power, there is no other way to be honest. He said it while he was with a cup in hand that he drank, although somewhat nervous that he was able to hide from the eyes of everyone except a few people. Haminari. It must be lucky to be the son of the Demon King. Izuku. It's not luck all the time, sometimes the idiot almost killed me. Demon King. Listen, I respect that apart from your father, I am your king. Izuku. We'll see that soon. All Might. I see then that they really get along this way. Izuku. Anyway, I think that's enough. I have to prepare some things in case they let me. The young man started to get up as he began to walk before everyone's eyes as he went to his room. Time passed and little by little some girls began to enter just to see how the young man was thinking while he looked at a fairly old and training sword. Diane. Is something wrong? Merlin. You don't look very encouraged by all this. Melascula. You even feel nervous. Izuku. It's nothing, just that the Demon King wants me to take his throne soon. Mael. And what's wrong with that? I say I don't see the bad thing in that. Izuku. The bad thing is that to take the throne I must assassinate him, I must kill the person who could save me and raise me. He said it while looking at his training sword, the same one with which he managed to start everything before the eyes of all the girls. Pap 30. In Purgatory the young man was only thinking about some things since the issue of his father wanting him to occupy the throne was something that did not leave him alone since he was returning to Earth with the rest of the class and they had to prepare some things. Izawa. Listen everyone, you have to start a pretty important class today since you're going to take a test. Mina. Is the test going to include Class B in part? He said it while they looked at how Class B was in one part, having a smile. Izawa. In part yes, they are going to make some teams, but we need that when they fight each other, a team is 3 against 1 member. Saying that they saw how Izuku began to walk in front of everyone. Izuku. I have no problem doing that myself. Izawa. Well I need the rest of the group. But that they saw how Tarmiel, Serial and Ludociel began to advance in front of everyone. Serial. I think we can set the first example so that we can be better. All Might. Okay, the test contains that one group must fight against the other, but to finish they must lock everyone inside a cell that we left. By saying that they could only nod their heads as they began to go towards the part of the place so they could begin the test. Mina. Don't you think it's too much even for him? Momo. Maybe so, I really don't know. Merlin. To be honest, I guess it's best that way. They saw how an alarm ended up ringing, causing the young man to start walking while he was trying to do something about it, only for him to end up being attacked by a sphere of water coming from Tarmiel, who tried to take him by surprise with a blow, but the young man ended up taking his arm. Izuku. You really didn't think you were going to be able to take me by surprise like it was nothing. The boy tried to hit him only for him to end up making his body of water, avoiding the attack. Tarmiel. Don't think it's going to be that simple, we were learning a lot from you. By saying that the young man ended up being hit by Ludociel repeatedly causing him to retreat only to end up receiving a blow of wind because of Serial, who tried to keep him that way to the young man who barely managed to stay standing for each attack that ended. Receiving only to spit out a little blood. Izuku. So they really got stronger, I guess I have to get serious otherwise it might end badly. The boy blocked a blow from Tarmiel followed by seeing how Ludociel began to pass by his sides giving some blows, but Izuku just stood still having his guard up receiving each attack until at one point he turned to take Ludociel's foot, surprising him. The same. Ludociel. Impossible. Izuku. You are good at speed, but I still surpass you in predicting your attacks. By saying that, he slammed the young man against the floor, making him spit out a little blood, followed by receiving a full blow to his stomach, making him spit out blood, followed by a kick that sent him crashing into some walls. But he didn't end up because he was caught by a dome of darkness, only for him to see Tarmiel, who was trying to go against him, only for him to become intangible again, due to a blow from Izuku that ended up passing him through. Tarmiel. You must know quite well that you can't do anything to me with this, it's impossible to harm me. Izuku. Maybe, but I would like to know what happens when I use a little dark matter. By saying that, where his arm was, there began to be dark matter throughout Tarmiel's body, completely taking over the young man, causing him to fall to the floor because of such a thing, only for him to go to the sky where Serial was attentive with his movements. Serial. I guess you won't be able to touch me, it's impossible for you to do something like that. The young man only made a small blade of darkness that he let go of the wind shield, which only ended up moving before his gaze. Izuku. Interesting, then I should do that myself. Serial. What are you talking about? From one moment to the next he began to fly around Serial, mistaking him for such a thing that he looked at this, only for him to see how he himself slowly began to enter the shield without being damaged, some surprising everyone until in a moment he hit the young man going directly to the floor, leaving Serial himself in that part while he had Izuku's fist in his face. The same one that was on top of him. Izuku. You are strong, but however there is a weakness, or rather two. The first is that your shield moves in one direction, and if something moves in that same part it can enter without problems with sufficient speed. The second is that your body he is not prepared for battles as you think, which is why you lost now. He said it while taking everyone to lock them in the cell he had, leaving him as the winner. Tab 31. In one part, that blonde was trying to rest while he thought about some things, although he was not alone, but was accompanied by the only person in Purgatory who could be understandable about his issues. Monspeed. So there's a certain chance that you'll end up having the king's throne right now. Izuku. Exactly, I don't know how I can do something like this because to be honest, this is something that surpasses me by a lot. Monspeed. And clearly it does, it is too much even for you to have such a great position at such a young age, but if we think in the same way all the time that the king is still alive, then it makes you wonder if it is really wrong for you to take his position. Izuku. This is really very bad, I don't even know how all this is going to end, because there is a chance that I will die. Monspeed. We can think of something, we just have to keep other more important things in mind. Izuku. Although to be honest I don't know what could be more important than the position as Demon King, I say they are one of the two positions of the great gods of this world, I really don't know what I can do with this. Monspeed. We are going to think about something, but we must have our mind on something else, like what you are going to do with Purgatory in case it becomes yours. I suppose you are going to make certain changes to it. Izuku. I honestly don't know what to do with Purgatory right now if I become king. At that point they heard the door begin to open while Serial and Tarmiel entered, who only approached, but not before closing the door. Monspeed. And now we have some company. Serial. None of that, we heard that you were going to become king a few seconds ago through that door, and we were interested in the matter. Izuku. I don't know what you care about, you guys want to see me dead. Tarmiel. To be honest, that is Ludociel who wants to see all the demons dead without thinking twice. Izuku. I guess there's just no choice but to accept things as they are, but I still can't figure out what they're doing in this place now. Serial. We are only interested in the conversations they have at the moment, nothing more than that. Tarmiel. But well, the most interesting thing is about you being king, we would like to stop having these types of conflicts, you know, in case you can make the demons change. Monspeed. Hey, we demons are like you. Serial. Are you saying that we spread darkness and are horrendous? Monspeed. I'm talking about us not being completely managed by our superiors, don't just believe that they are capable of doing the same thing that we are just warning them about. Izuku. What Monspeed means is that he is not a puppet and you are not a puppet of the supreme deity, that's what happens. Tarmiel. Well, don't get upset, we just want to have as few fights as possible. Izuku. There are no problems about that, I just became friends with the supreme deity in a certain way, so we get along well, there is no need to go to war because to be honest. Serial. It's good to know that at least we'll have less problems with this kind of thing. In a moment they began to see a portal forming in front of them, causing them to become alert. Tarmiel. Now what's happening? Monspeed. Don't worry, the time has come. Izuku. Now I have to see who will fall and who will rule. He said it as he began to walk so he could go through the portal. Tab 32. In Purgatory, hundreds of demons were placed to see how things were going to turn out in that place, since they only expected a good result without thinking about it, while the Demon King had his sword in hand and his son began to appear at the place. Demon King. The time has come to know who will rule and who will fall. Izuku. I'm going to do my best to win this fight, father, I'm sorry if I kill you. Demon King. Don't feel anything because right now I'm not your father, I'm your enemy. The Demon King only launched himself against the young man who gave a sigh because of this, as he only prepared his weapon, drawing his sword with which it collided with that of the Demon King, creating a brief tremor. Mael. Who can win in this fight? Esterasa. I really don't know, during all this time the Demon King was watching Izuku's training trying to understand how everything worked, therefore he knows more about him than Izuku does about our father. Chandler. But even though the Demon King has been completely weakening since the last time for no reason to reflect it, it is undoubtedly a matter of vital importance. I think it is simply not going to be a very easy fight to win. That's when they saw how Izuku managed to dodge his father's cuts with some ease while he approached to kick his face, making him move away a little, but he only managed to be taken by his father's hand, which lifted him into the air to be whipped against the floor with force. Demon King. Don't underestimate me, son, you still can't handle all my power like it's nothing. The Demon King launched a large amount of darkness where he ended up hearing the noise of a bell, followed by the darkness turning against him, making him retreat from such a thing, and Izuku ended up coming out, hitting the Demon King, followed by a cut on his chest. Although it did not have any further effect because the Demon King wanted to respond with a blow that the young man barely managed to block as he was sent crashing into one of the walls. The Demon King attempted to stab his sword, which was dodged by Izuku, who took advantage of its eyes to begin running on top of him until he reached the Demon King's face, where he made a clean cut in his left eye, causing him to scream in pain. While the young man fell to the ground on his feet. Izuku. I don't underestimate you, and the one who underestimates me in this fight is someone else. Demon King. That and we are going to know. The enormous being only attempted to deliver his weapon or a blow against the young man who managed to dodge it with ease, or if you can say that way because he used the demonic mark in its second phase, being in truth a quite serious matter to be able to fight against him. Strongest demon of all, being that at one point the Demon King tried to land a blow from above that was blocked by Izuku, who went directly to the floor where he could only withstand the force of the blow. Izuku. Damn, the old man is really strong, if he continues like this he's going to kill me. Ludociel. I don't know who cares anymore whether the youngest demon or the oldest demon wins. Carmiel. Don't be that way, Ludociel, just be a little good. Serial. Although the Demon King is the one who has everything to win, it is impossible for him to be able to defeat him. Well, Izuku is a 16-year-old demon, only the other was alive for thousands of years. To be honest, there is no chance of him winning this match. He said it while they were watching the fight, as the Demon King only applied his darkness to his fist, trying to crush the young man. Demon King. If you surrender now I will let you live as a slave. Izuku. Don't think I can let you do that kind of thing, I won't let you beat me. Demon King. As you wish. Saying that, he made a small jump, putting all his enormous weight into the blow, causing it to end up crushing Izuku, followed by it exploding, leaving a cloud of dust, where everyone watched as the Demon King began to leave the fight through a huge crater. Melascula. It must be impossible, he can't win this way. Eri. Please, idiot, you must get up. Everyone looked at this thinking that the young man is just dead as if it were nothing, while the Demon King tried to hold back the desire to cry for the death of his son, but out of nowhere a small rock hit his helmet, making him look where it came from, since it was a large amount of darkness began to emerge from the crater, while at the same time a single voice began to be heard. Izuku. Where are you going, old man? The fight is just beginning. He said it as he began to leave, demonstrating the assault mode before everyone's eyes, being the first time he had used it in combat. Hap 33. All the demons looked at how that young man was only using the demonic mark, or rather the assault mode in that combat, having a smile for the same reason, since the Demon King only became serious in the face of such a thing that was in front of him. Demon King. You finally used that form, I haven't seen it in a while apart from the fact that it's your last card up your sleeve. Izuku. Yes, now it's better that you give up or you want to end up dead. Demon King. I think you forgot the small detail that all this can only end with the death of one of us too. Izuku. In that case, let's get started once and for all because I can't wait to get this over with as soon as possible. He said it while he launched himself against him, where the Demon King tried to hit him with his sword, which was used by the young demon himself to start running on it, taking advantage of his size, in order to reach the front of his father, where he left a kick on his face that made him retreat, followed by a deep cut across his chest from top to bottom, causing his blood to begin to flow. Demon King. Not bad, you did quite well to be honest, son, although I really don't think you'll be able to maintain this fight for longer than expected. Izuku. There is only one way to know, father, and that is with the death of one of the two of us. Demon King. Let it be said no more, let's finish it once and for all. The Demon King only began to attack the young man who little by little avoided each cut that went against him, while he himself advanced little by little. Although some more cuts were earned by the young demon who ended up receiving a blow from the same king who I sent him to crash against a part of the wall, although it did not last long, because a mass of pure darkness began to emerge to be in front of the Demon King in order to deliver a blow with enough force so that he ended up kneeling before the being that took advantage. The same thing to begin to deliver more blows that were driven by his darkness. Melascula. So at the end of everything our new king slowly introduces himself. Monspeet. Anyway, the Demon King was in power for a long time, right now he is not as strong as his best times, which is an even bigger benefit for Izuku. This fight is over. Roll. Although it's not going to be easy to throw it away. He said it while they watched as the Demon King only managed to land a blow on Izuku's chin, followed by a sledgehammer blow that left him on the floor, where he planned to end the fight with his enormous sword that he raised loaded with dark flames in order to be able to eliminate to the young man, but from 1 second to the next, he stopped like everyone who looked surprised since 7 peaks of darkness were crossing different points of the Demon King who managed to spit blood, since the peaks of darkness came from the cloud of dust that was beginning to leave, revealing to a quite injured Izuku, but with his wounds healing little by little. Izuku. Peak of 7 kills. It is a skill that I was preparing a long time ago against you, father. As we know, a demon can receive many attacks from which it can heal, but if you kill the 7 hearts of the greater demons, it does not matter how strong be he, at the end of all he will die. At that point they saw how he ended up falling to his knees on the floor before the young man who only managed to spit out more blood, while at the same time the peaks of darkness disappeared. Demon King. From the beginning of the fight you searched for my hearts, and when you found them it was when you were in your assault mode. You knew that I moved them to different points, that's why you waited for the perfect moment for them to stay still and finish them all off. Izuku. It wasn't easy, to be honest. I'm still surprised that you're still alive, but it's time to end this if you don't believe it. Demon King. That's right, I think it's better to end the matter once and for all. He said it while his body slowly began to disappear into a darkness that entered Izuku's body, who could only feel all that power until he fell unconscious to the floor. Chapter 34. In one part of Purgatory the boy began to wake up without knowing what was happening, and he was just taking his mind off such a thing until he noticed how his girls were near him. Izuku. What's happening? Elizabeth. You worried us too much when we saw you fall unconscious to the floor. Queen. After you had the power of the Demon King, some just had to take you to a place to rest using a stretcher made of darkness. Airy. Although I don't understand what the goddesses still do with us. Mael. I'm sorry, really the last thing I want is to end up in a fight against you. I'm serious, we just want some peace. Airy. You just say that when you try to do that. Izuku. What happened now? Zaldris. After you fell unconscious, Ludociel simply tried to kill you, but Chandler took care of him through combat. Izuku. I see, I should have expected that kind of thing at the end of everything. It was a bit predictable for this matter, but at least it's starting once and for all. Esterasa. What are you talking about? Izuku. I have some matters to attend to with a special person. By the way, tell the commandments to prepare, because as much as possible we will enter into a battle soon. Narabasta. What do you plan to do now? Izuku. They'll know soon, they just have to be able to prepare things. The young man got up to get dressed in order to create a portal in front of him, through which he passed only to end up in the UA in front of Director Nezu, who stared at him. Nezu. It seems that at the end of everything it was true, you became the Demon King of everything. Izuku. Yes, now I have an important matter to talk to you about. All Might. Well, from what it seems it could be very important, that's why all of us are going to listen to you. Izawa. You are my offspring at the end of everything, nothing else is necessary. Izuku. Well, as Demon King I can't continue in the academy, I must take charge of Purgatory as my duty to the throne, which is normal, but before doing that I want to have the opportunity to help you with your problem about the League of Villains. I can personally take care of all of them like my best demons. Nezu. I see, so you wish you could take down the Villain League before you can leave. Izuku. To be honest, Director, I was in this academy for a long time, and I don't like to keep in mind while I'm ruling Purgatory that those villains are simply causing chaos outside, as if they didn't care about anything. I don't want to run the risk of you going wrong, although I care little or nothing about All Might. Izawa. When you say you want to take charge of them as the current Demon King, that means you're going to want to kill some of them. Izuku. Personally I want to kill all for one like Tamura, since the real one is outside, while the rest are just trying to make some plans to destroy the city. Nezu. Okay, I'll let you go against the League of Villains with your demons, just try to at least have prisoners is all I ask. Izuku. It's going to be that way. The young man started to get up so he could leave, but in the hallways, he was interrupted by All Might, who went directly to the young man. All Might. Excuse me, young Izuku, but we really want to be able to fix the things that happened. You know, you kept your distance from your brothers while you were at the academy, like from your mother and more. Izuku. They ignored me for a long time, they left me alone, they never wanted to accompany me, but now that I have power they only want to use me. Don't think I know the truth that is hidden behind your eyes, All Might. I am the Demon King, but I can forgive them since as a king, I cannot keep the grudge in front of me all the time, but on the contrary, I forgive you. But never think that I am going to return to you, I will never approach your house again, unless it is for a matter of extreme importance, it works that way. All Might. Yes, I know well, I still can't forgive myself for the way I treated you back then. Izuku. Now that we fixed it, I'm just going to leave this place, I have nothing to do at the end of everything. He said it as he began to leave, knowing that he was going to have the chance to finally put an end to the League of Villains. Tab 35. But the League of Villains, they found themselves unable to do more than be able to make their plans against the city, having the perfect plans apart from the high-end Nomus as their best weapon, Gigantomachia being the one who was training to be able to finish off the heroes in a near future. Tamura. Soon no one will be able to come against us, we will have all the power to be able to destroy the local people. All for one. Although Gigantomachia is not completely ready, with those goddesses they will surely try to intervene in our plans. Abi. Are you talking about putting the demons in this? For that we must be able to contact one. All for one. It's true, but I have no idea how to do it, other than I'm sure they will want to take over this world with pleasure. At one moment or another I ended up feeling a tremor as one of the members entered. Villain. Mr. All for one, they are attacking the base. All for one. Quien. Villain. I don't know, it seems to be demons. As they said that, they felt another tremor so that they could see through the cameras that they were the demons who were simply trying to enter the base where they were attacking them after attack. Kurajiri. I don't understand why I can't use my portals. All for one. And apparently they took care of every emergency exit, in that case we will fight. Outside the place he was looking at the base. Railroad. I took care of their portals, they can't escape anymore. Luxinia. They are like trapped mice. Izuku. In that case, I want the strongest possible villains to be caught, they will leave their leaders for me, while the weakest ones can do whatever they want like with the Nomus, the truth is I'm not interested. Alan. That's great, I can fight without the need to hold back, it's the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. Izuku. And you better be able to have as much fun as you want because it won't last long. Zaldris. Are you going to show your king form? Izuku. I think it's the right thing to do, at the end of the day I have no choice but to start. The young man was surrounded by his dark matter, only for when he left there was an Izuku but bigger, his long blonde hair as usual having quite a few changes. Esterasa. That shape looks much better, I can't wait for you to take us with that. Izuku. Let's get things started once and for all, we have no reason to wait. He said it while they were launching against the villains, and Gigantomachia himself managed to come out and tried to deliver a direct blow against the new king who stopped him with just one hand. Gigantomachia. I'm going to destroy you, damn it. Izuku. How cute, you know how to talk and you look strong, so I hope you're worth it. The young man made two parts emerge from his darkness, being golden arms which began to take the enormous being in order to deliver a full blow to his stomach, followed by taking his face to lift him up and hit him hard against the floor making a cloud of dust around the place. Izuku. Now you will feel the power of the Demon King as it should be. The young man then gave a full kick against Gigantomachia, causing him to end up dragging his head along the floor as if it were nothing to throw him away from where he was. Monspeet. Do you want me to take care of him? Izuku. No need, it seems to be their strongest member and I plan to take advantage of this. He said it while walking towards Gigantomachia who was on the floor unable to do anything. Tamura. Do you think Gigantomachia can against them? All for one. Yes, his power is almost as great as my power, he can fight them, he just lacks a little experience, nothing more than that. Abi. Well sir, I have some bad news. All for one. Like, bad news. At that point the ceiling ended up being knocked down by Gigantomachia's head, who was bleeding from different parts of his body. Abi. That's bad news. He said it while they watched as Izuku was slowly getting off of it, having a smile as if it were nothing to him who was only walking towards the villains. Tab 36. Everyone looked from the villains to the young man who was in front of them, holding a Gigantomachia in a very bad state, and the young man showed a slight smile while crossing his arms, staring at the biggest villain. All for one. So you are that demon king who only thinks about being able to finish me. Izuku. I'm afraid so, it's better that you have your sentence ready because I'm not going to have any mercy on you. All for one. Don't think that just because I finished off Gigantomachia that you're going to be able to defeat me like it was nothing. Izuku. Really? So let's try what happens because it's really going to be interesting to be able to try to kill you. All for one. If you say so. From one moment to the next a man was in front of the young man in order to finish him off, but in 1 second he ended up receiving a blow to his stomach, causing him to end up flying to end up crashing into a wall. Tamura. Master, I can't let you die. When he launched himself against Izuku, he simply hit the side with a blow, hitting the villain's face where he fell directly to the floor where the young man was thinking of continuing, but from 1 second to the next the Nomus appeared and they were barely reaching the high range. But before he could reach the young man, he saw how Monspeed ended up facing him. "Monspeed, you are not worthy to get in front of the king." He said it while some spikes began to come out of the floor, being from Droll, which stuck into the stomachs of the Nomus, followed by receiving the infernal flames of Monspeed, causing them to end up almost turning into ashes, only for Izuku to continue on his way towards the hole that he left it on the wall, where, as he passed, he saw how All For One was getting up. "All For One, I have to say, you really surprised me because I didn't expect you to be able to endure so much." "Izuku, really? Because the one who ended up taking the hit was someone else and I'm surprised that you didn't break completely, besides we just started All For One, so you have to prepare your funeral if you want to do something else before you die. All For One, don't think too much of yourself for barely having that throne as king." The villain attacked the young man trying to hit him head-on in order to finish him off, but the young man managed to block him, only to throw him upwards, followed by taking him by the leg to hit him against the floor. The villain extended one of his hands directly towards the young man's face, where he received a compressed air attack that hit him squarely, causing him to fly, where he ended up crashing into a wall, followed by him receiving more of those attacks until they heard the sound of a bell ringing alone. So that those attacks that All For One launched would return to him, hitting him squarely, causing him to fall to the floor, followed by hearing applause, seeing the young man who was walking towards him with nothing but scratches. "Izuku, well done, keep going this way because I'm actually liking it more, to be honest, little by little I love this kind of things. All For One, now I'm going to kill you." He got up to attack him, but ended up on his knees while the floor where he was standing cracked a little. "Izuku, I see, so you tried that. All For One, what's wrong with me? I cannot understand it." "Izuku, let me explain it to you in a few words. It is my commandment of love, whoever feels hatred in their being will not have the right to harm other people in my presence." "All For One, what a shitty commandment, now I want to kill you even more." The man tried to get up slowly, but it was difficult for him. "Izuku, impressive, you can move a little despite having my commandment. This type of thing is impressive for a human, because it doesn't matter if you lived more than 100 years, you are still a simple human, and it is time for Purgatory to claim your soul." He said it while letting those golden parts emerge from his darkness, which went directly like blades to All For One's arms, cutting them, causing him to scream in pain, while only letting his face hit the floor. "All For One, where is support found when it is needed?" "Izuku, well, they meet my demons, no one in this place, not a single villain, can be saved. It's better that we put an end to that once and for all." Last words. All For One, muried. With that, one of those metal clamps ended up cutting off the villain's head completely, causing him to fall to the floor, and his soul began to leave the body, which was taken by the young man. "Izuku, well, I think I'll have fun with these kinds of souls." He said it while he began to keep it for himself and began to walk, noticing how all the villains were defeated by the demons and the heroes began to arrive little by little at the place. Chapter 37 Final. The young man began to walk slowly with a smile, as if it were nothing to have finished off All For One himself, even if it was in that way before the power of the Demon King himself, while his demons were locking up the villains little by little as if they were not nothing. "Nezu, well, I think it was really enough to ensure victory for all of us." "Izuku, I guess it's true, right now the villains are being locked up, I guess they're going to live for a long time of living peace." "Nezu, that's right, the 8 precepts of death, the League of Villains and other groups that were completely locked away are killed." "Izuku, well, director, I have the good news for you that it will work as a thank you." "Nezu, what are you talking about?" He saw how he created a portal next to him, where he managed to put his hand in, followed by taking it out to reveal a scroll that he handed to the director himself, who began to look at it. "Izuku, this works as a way to talk directly to me. If I open it immediately, I will be able to hear your voice, so I know if you need help with something, but in case I want to talk to you, it will start moving and approach you directly, that way you will be informed with everything you need." "Nezu, truly thank you very much for giving me the opportunity that you so desire to be able to give me." As he said that, they began to leave little by little where he was only walking, so that at one moment he was on a mountain where he watched as a woman began to approach, being the supreme deity like Mael, Elizabeth and Narabasta, who came to have a smile. "Narabasta, I think it's time to go to Purgatory." "Elizabeth, it can be a little fun to be able to keep things calm." "Izuku, about that, the supreme deity and my father, before the old man died, imagined that something like this would happen." "Supreme deity. That is why I was in charge of creating a world close to this one, like Purgatory and our world of the goddesses, direct entrances and direct exits of the 3 different worlds that exist. In that place we can live in peace." Velascula. It sounds interesting at least, that way we can start having a good life. Esterosa. I just hope we don't end badly with this matter. Velascula. What do you mean by that? Eri. I think it's for a simple matter. Saying that, Izuku noticed something in time to catch a hand that went directly to Derieri's hearts to see how it was Ludociel himself, who was quite angry. Ludociel. What do you think you're doing? Elizabeth. He doesn't look very happy. Supreme Deity. It's normal, he never wanted to approve this kind of matters completely. Izuku. I imagined that this was going to happen, that's why I prepared myself because even though I am the Demon King and if I live in that world with you, then I will leave someone in charge of Purgatory. Supreme Deity. The same can be said for me. Izuku. Well, I will leave my best demon in charge of Purgatory. It is Monspeed, he is going to take care of the matter for the moment, but if something special happens, then I am going to take charge as if there are problems between the goddesses and the demons. Supreme Deity. The same for me, Ludociel, I want you in charge of the goddesses, but don't you dare make moves against the demonic clan, otherwise there will really be problems with this type of matter. Ludociel. But my lady can't leave her position, she's supposed to take care of us. Supreme Deity. I know, but I have all my trust in the three archangels, we have already spent a lot of time and power, and it is time to let others make the decisions, we cannot always rule in these types of matters. Izuku. So we're leaving. Nerabasta. Come on, we can't let any more time pass, apart from their two presences in this world, possibly destroying everything. Izuku. It's true, maybe I'll come to visit the class to see how they are doing and other things, a lot of interesting things really happen throughout my life in this place. Ania. Well, you just have to understand that you still owe us all children. As he said, the young man began to have a slight smile as he began to leave through a portal with the Supreme Deity and the rest of his loved ones, where they were simply going to stay to be able to see everything from a different point of view from then on. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.